What is up, everybody? We got a little bit of a rebrand going on tonight. We are no longer on the radar. We are now only the rarest because obviously we are fucking 5 of the rarest dudes that you will ever meet. And that's not even counting Marcus and Vinny. That's a whole different level of fucking rare and unique right there. But we got a good show for you tonight. We got our man Omar V. It's going to stop by and talk a little action figures and a few other things with us. We got Ferd the Nerve. We got 78 points. We got Pepe Maxi himself. Let's do it.
Maxi.
Let's do it.
Like it.
Dude, that's legit.
It's pretty damn cool, man.
That's cool.
Those visual effects, man.
That's what Ralph said last night. He's like, we got the fucking Marvel Phase 5 team, fucking VFX
No, we got-
team working on it.
We got the dudes before Phase 4. That's who we got.
There you go.
No, shout out to the guy's name's Gazer, Gazer. He's on Instagram. He's in Discord, multiple things, but he whipped that up within 4 hours of me asking him to do that, and he's made a couple different modifications and a couple other things that we're going to add to some of the other Discords, etc. But if you guys need any graphic work done, he works extremely fast, and to be honest with you, his pricing isn't too bad for the quality of work that you get. So shout out to Gazer. That was he
Right
gave us a
on.
couple cool ones too. So we'll see what Ferd wants to do. Ferd's boss. So
Not
Is that
lately.
Gazer collects, right? Gazer collects.
how the fuck you guys been? Did you have a good week so far? Are you ready for I mean, do you all I guess you wouldn't celebrate Memorial Day where you're at 78 points, but do you all have like a long weekend? I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying. Like,
Yeah.
I guess it more is an American holiday than it is a
Communist.
worldwide holiday.
Shit.
Yeah, man. I've been good. I mean, thank you guys for having me on. I mean, I kind of was tripping out on the graphic change and shit. I just wanted to make sure I was on the right show. But
Yeah.
man. I'm glad to be on.
No, dude. We're
You guys
excited
are
to have
awesome.
you on. If you guys don't know, Omar's on a podcast with 78 points, and it is called. Good God, give me
Let's see if I can get a link on it. I'll put it in the chat too if you can find it.
Lost Cause Collective.
the Lost Cause Collectible. That's right. I knew it was LCC something, and
Collective, right?
he's been on the Discord from day one. He's a guy that literally has been dropping all the action figure, all the statues, anything to do with figures or anything like that. He's vehicles, Razor Crest. He's everything that has been posted in our action figure section, which has been
Razor
popping
Crest.
the last few months. Our boy Omar has hooked us up with. So please check out the Lost Cause Collectibles. Him and 78. And what's the other guy's name that y'all do it with?
Will Flow.
Dude, a couple other cats. Will Flow 81, Johnny Number 5, and Action Figure Boncho. Kind of just
Like the
little show that we
dopest
kinda
names ever.
yeah, for real. I got like
They do have
my
way cooler
regular
names.
name. For reals, man.
Well,
But,
Omar's good. I like Omar V. It's cool.
Yeah. Keep it
Straight to the
simple,
point.
baby. Yeah, hell yeah. But yeah, man.
I
Thank you
didn't know
guys
if it
for the
was like
plug,
an
man.
Omar. I didn't know if it was like a Roman numeral V, like if it has
Oh,
like meaning. or some
number
shit.
5 and
Wow.
shit. Right? Yeah. Nah, man, just kept it simple, But yeah, we kind of do the show every week, 8:35 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Saturdays. Just kind of go over like action figure news of the week, do a little FOC towards the end. But it's cool, man. Thank you guys for the plugs too in your guys' Discord, man. What I'm trying to do too for you guys as far as like toys is just kind of share what I come across, and there might be some people in there that are interested, so you never really know, man. So just glad to share.
But you also do shoes, and the one thing about the links that you drop is you drop the link, and then he drops like 5 or 6 pictures. It's not
Yeah.
just like link dropping. So I like that.
Yeah. I like it. I mean, that's what I like because we have our own Discord also, and like it's just that's where you want to kind of keep the focus. You don't want to just kind of plug a link and then have people go to like another site. You kind of want to kind of keep the conversation in the Discord. So it's like if you kind of provide the images and stuff like that, there's no need to kind of click the link. You know what I'm saying? So it's just much info as you can kind of plug. There it is. So.
Curious if people are gonna have easier time or a hard time following me. There's already people like, what fucking's going on? New channel name. I got people text me like, what happened? Everything's got.
Brand names
It's hard.
take time, right?
It does take time.
Yeah.
Everything should be the same though. All the links, all that. all that shit like that should have been the same. So everyone should have got the same notification. So
Yeah, it actually still takes you to our to only the rarest even if you type in. So it's for some reason it still works, which is cool. So, but yeah.
I wanted to keep the OTR. For whatever reason, I liked OTR. I can't tell you
OTR is
why.
dope. Yeah, I like it.
I thought
It
just
sounds
that
good.
the symbol. What is it? No, that'd be initialism. I forget what it's called, but
Acronym.
and it was pretty funny. We had some interesting ideas to come up with things that would go to OTR, and only the rarest seemed to win. Ferd didn't like. Which one did you like, Ferd? I forget which one. You voted for something completely different.
Oh man, there were so many, dude. Like
Over the
I was
rainbow,
going on.
right?
What's that?
Over the rainbow?
Yeah, that was,
I wanted the over rainbow. Damn it, that was the one. That was the one.
Spec
on the
media
ropes is not bad.
on the ropes.
Yeah.
All the sounds cool.
There was a bunch of joke ones before the podcast started. Wade and Southpaw, Ocelot the Revolver,
Was tight. Ocelot the River was awesome. That was cool.
Out the Ride Share, Off the Rocker, Off the Roids. There's quite.
Out the rear.
Out the rear. Oh, dear.
Out the rear.
Hey yo.
Pause.
So yeah, it's been a crazy week, man. I mean, like I've been doing back to back podcasts. Keeping up with this with our changes in the group. It's been fun. It's just been really busy for me. But that's some cool stuff I saw, like video game wise. I know Sony had their presentation earlier. I don't know you guys catch that. Omar, you did for sure, because we were kind of going back and forth about that. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I'm not like stoked about it, but it was all right.
Is that the Metal Gear Solid?
Mm-hmm.
And the handheld.
And the handheld, yeah.
That 3-pack could be pretty dope to cop and maybe just sit on for a minute, because it's gonna have dope presentation, when you get it. So
Sure, definitely.
I gotta be honest, I don't know if it came out today or yesterday, but I saw the initial gameplay for the Spider-Man 2.
I saw that. Yeah,
That was cool.
Yeah, watch that.
yeah,
I'm not a big. You know what's crazy is I'm not a big gamer at all, but
I believe it.
I watched all.
I believe it.
I watched all 10 minutes of that fucking trailer, and it was better than a lot of movie footage. It's better than a lot of cartoons. I'm dead serious. The lizard looked amazing, and the symbiote stuff with Peter and Miles, and the way that they were underwater and doing some of the stuff that they did. I mean, if video games are getting like that, man, getting back into that would fucking cost me a lot.
That first Spider-Man was so fun, man. Like you're just swinging around the city, just having fun swinging around. It was, you're not even doing the missions or anything. It was really well done. The mechanics are really good. So that they did the Miles version of that, which is basically like a giant DLC. They released it as a second game. So this is like the proper second release.
That's cool.
It's gonna be good. It'll be good.
That's Sony actually doing Spider-Man right and shit, huh?
Yeah, right. And what next week, man? Across the Spider-Verse.
Are you guys excited
already? That's next week.
Pretty excited,
dude.
Holy
Well,
shit.
I was trying to I love Into the Spider-Verse. That's like my number one superhero movie, man. That's by far. It was like a perfect film for me. People are saying this is better. I'm like, no fucking
Wow,
way.
better.
Yeah, people are like, yo, it's a bit darker. I'm like, oh, is it the Empire? Is it the Empire of their trilogy? Shit.
Did you guys see that Metro Boomin posted it was like a homage to his album cover, but it's like, I think it's Spider-Man 2099 and Miles like shaking hands. Did you guys see that? I think he's supposed to do the soundtrack,
heroes
right?
villains thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I
he
haven't
was,
seen it yet, but that makes sense.
Yeah, he was like on the ads for the Jordan stuff. Metro
Mhm.
Boomin. I think it was like him and his kids and shit. So pretty dope.
Have you guys see the? I think it was Brains who posted in the Discord, but the Chinese version of the
Oh, yeah,
Spider-Verse
that
2
shit is
poster.
Mhm.
Holy shit,
Dope.
that was really nice. I wonder how hard it is to get up. I mean, I know it's not difficult to get a lot of things in China with the bootlegging and some of the stuff they do, but I wonder what links you have to go to get an official movie poster of that, because I could see that doing well if you got the right poster long term.
AliExpress, man. Pretty sure it's on there.
Yeah, for real.
Same place I get my Yeezys.
Real. Yeah, I think you could probably get it on there. The issue is the legitimacy and all that, but I don't think you'll ever be able to figure out if it's real or not, man. In a poster like that, it's there's no marketing or anything to differentiate between a reprint or the original.
True.
Yeah.
That's why I like Mondo. They get their shit numbered most of the time.
Yeah, now they're doing like embossed stamps and things like that. So they're trying.
Is it true that I remember a few months back there was a story that Funko they'd bought Mondo and were going to discontinue? Is that legit or?
I think there was that when that happened. Yeah, the news of them shutting down the poster division. They actually had to do like a little press release to say, "Hey, we're not doing that."
Yeah.
So whether
that would have been
the
dumbest
that was going to happen, or it was just people, just trying to talk shit. I don't know.
Yeah, because
they did do a press release saying, "Hey, we're not shutting it down."
Yeah, because Funko's cool, but I think Mondo definitely puts out way better stuff.
Way better.
Dude, I don't think fucking Funko. I'll be honest with you. During the pandemic and everything like that, same with probably a lot of you guys. Funko. I don't know. I just don't see Funko long term. Now, granted, I know that there's people who are going to disagree with me, but I just don't see the same interest in Funko Pops that I did 24 months ago, or even 48 months ago, 4 years ago. I used to see a lot of people excited about the chase and different things, exclusives. And I know some of those con exclusives, NYCCs, SDCs, some of those do really, really well. But I mean, every time before I boycott Target with everybody else, when I go by an aisle at Target, and it just seems like there's everyone that you could imagine, and there's a lot of them. I don't know if people are buying them now or not.
It's the same thing as those. What are those little teddy bear things that came out like 20 years ago?
They saturated their own market, man. Like they kind of just overdid it. You can't even differentiate like certain ones from like a previous release anymore. It's just like, I don't know. I always thought that was a good approach to just like license everything and kind of just make everything a Funko. But it just looked like they just kind of saturated their own market, man. It's just too much. Like there's no way to even keep up. Like there's no even fun in collecting them anymore, like at all, really. Like, if you were collecting them, there's just too many. There's just way too many of them. Like you can't really distinguish your collection from somebody else.
Did you guys see the story that I'm fucking this number up, like $5 million worth into a landfill?
Yeah.
Yep. That was real.
That can't be a good sign.
Nope.
Yeah. I think after that too, they opened up like one of their like warehouses, and they had like vaults in there, and they were just letting people in and buy as many as you can for like at a discounted rate. And then people were in there and they were finding some that were like vaulted, supposedly. And then that fucked up the market for like the people holding those, so that pissed those people off, and they just started dumping. So it's just been a lot of bad decisions from what I've been reading. I haven't really been like keeping up with it too much, but I have watched like a few streams of people talking about it, and like, yeah, it just looks like it's just like a lot of bad decisions that I think they want to kind of pivot themselves away from that and kind of maybe focus on other forms of collectibles, maybe.
Since you and 78 kind of, I mean, that's your background, is you're into action figures the way you are. Are Funkos considered an action figure, or are they kind of looked down upon by the figure collectors? I genuinely ask, because I've always
they're looked down upon, man.
I get it.
They're generally looked down upon, and that's kind of what would trip me out too, is like because like the comic community would really kind of be behind them, where it was like, because they're just so accessible, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like
they're cheaper, right?
Accessibility lends itself to kind of collectability. So you kind of see one and you're like, hey, I kind of recognize this IP, looks cool, it has like that chibi aspect to it, so it kind of looks kind of cool. But it's just like in the action figure community, it's just basically just like a generic looking statue. It looks the same. It doesn't do anything. You can't really. There are people that can kind of have like dope kind of photography things kind of to do with them, but for the most part, people just they don't really look at them like desirable or anything like that. They kind of rather just save their money and buy an action figure that's around the same kind of price almost.
Sure.
The Funkos are kind of ranging.
Does that for the same price almost? Yeah.
See, what's funny is they kind of came out towards the end of when I was kind of done with comics CBSI, and I didn't know a lot of comic book people that were into the Funkos. So I've always wondered what group of people kind of transitioned into the Funkos. Because even right now in the Discord, which is predominantly a lot more comic people than there are anything, you don't get a lot of Funko talk. I mean, you get the most Funko talk we had is when they dropped like the Britney Spears and some of the sports ones that that had the big box and the background that came out a few months back, but you don't hear much about just regular drops. I've always been curious what niche of people kind of transition into collecting those. So
yeah,
I know a lot of females do, like a lot.
Yeah, like in action figure community, they kind of just call them Funko people. So it's like they don't really belong to anybody. They're not like a comic crowd. They're not like an action figure toy crowd. They're just kind of like their own form of collector because it's a kind of a lazy thing to collect too. Like you don't really. They all look the same. You can't distinguish them. It's like if you know the IP and you want to collect it, cool. There it is. And like I said, they were everywhere, bro. You go to Target, they're there. You go to the comic shop, they're there. So it's like,
yeah,
it's easy. It's an easy thing to collect. You don't need to do a lot of research into it. You just kind of see the IP, you recognize it, you buy it. That's it. But
I did find one chase during the pandemic, and it was oh gosh, what was that Netflix show that Jonathan Majors kind of got famous for? Umbrella Academy.
Oh.
No, it was whatever it was. It was an Umbrella Academy chase figure. And I remember when I checked out, the guy in the electronics department was pissed off. He's like, "Dude, where'd you find that at?" I go, "In the toy section." You could tell he's like, "Damn, we missed that when we were putting shit out." I swear, to this day.
Where'd you find that? Where'd you find that figure? Damn it!
That's exactly what it was. He made it sound like I brought it in myself and was checking out. I'm like, "No, bro, it was on your shelf."
I think some of the comic covers are pretty cool. I mean, like
those are cool. The Miles.
If somebody wants to, yeah, the Miles is pretty cool. Somebody posted a Wolverine was pretty cool. I mean, I wouldn't buy him, but I could see why somebody would want it.
Say no.
What?
They always just look like those Russian dolls to me.
I mean, if you have a slabbed Miles and you want to put your Funko next to it, I mean, I could see why somebody would want to do that.
Yeah,
buy the hot toy Miles and stick it in front of your slab.
People too, man. Like people, even like the average person will spec on anything. You know what I'm saying? So like people see that and they're like, hey, they see some of those vaulted ones going for, I don't know how much they were going for, but like 200 and up. People kind of think like, hey, I might score too. I might buy a couple of these, sit on them for a long time, and you never know.
What's vaulted, Omar?
It's just kind of like where it was like a low produced one, I think, and they just were not gonna make any more of that particular character or IP from what I've read. So there's like some like original ones that kind of came out, like first issues, I guess you could say. Like some of the NBA ones that I remember. Like I think I remember like seeing Damian Lillard, like hearing about his being like a vaulted one, and it was like one of the first NBA licensed Funko Pops, and I think that one was fetching for like 200 plus or something like that. So it kind of just has to do with like just like some of the earlier releases, I think. But that's just like from what I've like heard of,
Isn't there a Thrawn that goes for a good amount of money, like over 1,000, something like that?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I would imagine there's still some that kind of are like really sought after. They're just like, I think they have like a character too that's like their little mascot, like a Funko Freddy or something like that. And I think some of his are like really sought after. Like I don't know. I mean, anything is just worth what anybody's willing to pay for pay for it. So
I can fucking meme coins, dude, like Pepe coins, right? Right.
Exactly.
But yeah, I agree with Trey. Like, I don't think this is sustainable, this thing. And I think, like Omar's saying about some of the reports, like it's already kind of caving in, imploding on itself.
Yeah. If something doesn't have its own community, it's hard for it to stay hot and, and stay like, you know what I'm saying? And like Trey said, he doesn't really know who the crowd is, like the comic community keeps comic book spec alive. The action figure community keeps like action figure spec. And I guess just the interest in it alive. But if it doesn't have a community behind it, it's kind of hard for it to kind of generate buzz and stuff like that, because then who's hyping it up, who's buying it, who's selling it? Like it's just a lot of blankness, I guess you could say.
Cool.
So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna send all my Funkos 78 points with a no
fuck.
return address.
Well, you can't you
Fucking
slap
hate those
Funkos
things,
now?
man.
That's the thing,
Can't
right?
stand those things.
Yeah, you could, yeah. You can slap anything pretty much.
I don't know.
No?
That sounds nonsense as well, man.
Can you slap sneakers?
Hey, yo.
So
I
they
think you
got
probably
that product
can.
out where it's like a vacuum sealing thing. So it's like it has like a nitrogen. So it's like a sleeve Ziploc bag, and then you suck out the air, and then you plug in nitrogen or some shit like that, so your midsole doesn't rot.
That's not a horrible idea. I mean,
Yeah,
sneakers are going to continue to
wear your
deteriorate.
shit. Wear your shit. That's what I learned.
That's definitely one thing I agree. 78 is wear your shit. But just to start off this week, I was gonna start off with Yeezy Day, but I wanted to start round 3 of Kith. But yeah, so there is no release date yet on these Kith Asics, the Joe Cayano 14s.
Mhm.
But just bringing these up, and I have a picture down here of the Jound Joe Cayanos. That kind of, and I also have Jound the 992s here, and I think these are 991s. But I mean, everybody here for the most part, even Ferd, you've kind of dabbled into shoes now. But have you guys noticed how some of these shoes, it's not just guys our age. It's kind of the younger generation that are going for these shoes and not just flipping them, but they're actually wearing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking to this guy I used to work with a long time ago, like 4 or 5 years ago. He was like an intern at my office, and like he's like 23, and he knows, like, he wears all his sneakers, and they're worth like lots of money. I was just kind of collaborating with him, just try to figure out like what he's looking at and whatnot. But like he just has like a immense just knowledge about sneakers, and he's like 22. I don't know how he affords all these sneakers, but probably still lives at home or whatever. But yeah, it's crazy, man. I like the fact that the sneaker hobby has kept throughout like the generations or whatnot. And I feel like it's only getting bigger. So,
dude, I mean, you can tell in our Discord. I mean, when there's drops going on now, I mean, it gets pretty active in the Jordan and the Nike section. Like today with the SB Nike greens, the kind of the those were. I mean, they restocked those. I didn't hit. I tried hard. I really want a pair of those to wear. But
yeah, those are definitely like the obvious play for the younger generation, but more so like Asics. When I was in high school, I would not be caught dead wearing Asics or New Balance, but now it kind of seems, it's a little bit more acceptable, and I think it's because of the collab. Like, so Kith is collabing with Asics, Jound. You had the Action Bronsons that came out a couple weeks ago.
right.
So it's a high retail, but even if you were into this for the flip, the 992s, the Jound 992, those go for over 1,000. The Jound Asics go for 500. So it has a high retail, but if you were into the flipping aspect of it, you can make pretty good money versus like a Yeezy.
So yeah, the two, in terms of sneaker history, like these two brands, Asics, Japanese, New Balance is a big thing in Japan. Right. So in the late 90s, early thousands, streetwear brands from Japan, Real Mad Hectic and things like that, would do New Balance collabs. They were like, you had the Nikes with Atmos and things like that. Real Mad Hectic would do New Balance. And it wasn't a dad sneaker look. It was just a cool sneaker.
Right.
The Japan, it was a long time for New Balance to kind of break that mold. And then in the UK, you had another kind of sneaker forum / magazine / retailer that would do a few. Yeah. And those were pretty hype for a minute, but it was a weird thing. So New Balance in the UK was popular with sneakerheads. In Japan, it was popular with sneakerheads. Crooked Tongues is the UK guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember like I grabbed the first 3 that they did. But in the States, they would not flip. It wouldn't
At
flip.
all.
And it wasn't until the dad fashion started coming in and the Jounds and all that, that they kind of rode, the United Arrows stuff from Japan. They rode that look, this conservative, all earth tones shit that started coming out. Now, the other thing that's happened is there's been this kind of tech wear resurgence about 10 years ago. So, acronym being the forefather of that, forefront of that shit. People were looking for alternative shoes.
Yeah.
Like there was a thing because as sneakers started blowing up, it's always about, the sneaker culture is always like, what are those, right?
Yeah.
So it got too much like, oh, fuck, these are dope, but everyone's got them or they're too accessible. There's no more hunting. So people were looking for the next. And yeah, Asics started popping up. Salomon, Hoka Ones, those kinds of things started. People started paying attention to that shit. And it's kind of gone, full circle, coming back now. Because I would say the dad trend thing happened maybe like 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And now it's just coming back.
Now it's coming back again. And you're right, like kids, like, a friend's younger sister was like, oh, I want to get some New Balances.
Which is crazy, right?
I have my 990s V5s, man. They're fucking the most comfortable shit. I'm done. I'm only about comfort now.
Dude, you know what's funny is like the some of those New Balances, they're dad shoes 100%, but some 100%. Of them they look really fucking legit. Like they have a good look to them. Like the ones that are in the slide right now, the ones in the bottom right, like that light green one. Yeah, those light green. I would fucking wear that anywhere without any hesitation. Now the Asics, I get it, but I couldn't wear those Asics.
They're good for running. That's about it. But yeah.
But I mean, it's very interesting because that's so true. Because I mean, during the pandemic, and Ralph can attest to this, I had no idea that New Balance were even flippable. And then I was trying to figure out where they were doing so well at, and like 78 said, in Japan, they're king when it comes to flipping shoes for the most part. No, they really were. I mean, because I never seen anyone wearing any high-end New Balance anywhere in the States. That's just me. And then I was like, who's buying these? And then it makes a lot of sense that it's the I don't like. Is that the Action Bronsons?
No, you see? There you go.
See, I think the apprehension for somebody that's trying to flip and doesn't really know is the retail price. It's like you see a pair of shoe that's $250. It's like, what's the profit margin? But you'd be surprised they go for over 500, sometimes 1,000.
God damn!
I'm just idea that Real Mad Hectic shit because I mean, Action Bronson things was cool, but Real Mad Hectic was doing those kind of wild colorways 15, 20 years ago, dude.
So I guess the question here is. 78. Are you wearing those Kith Asics? I know you have a thing against Kith.
No, like the Asics is a bit narrow. The shoe, it's like a tech running shoe,
right?
Like and they're a bit too narrow. So like I said, I'm all about comfort. I fuck with the New Balances now,
for sure.
I fuck with some of the J's, like 3s and 4s and 5s because they're wide. So yeah.
You know what, Ralph was talking about people wear your shoes. I know 78 was like wear your shoes. I think I brought this up before, but Jizzy Gillespie in the chat, aka Wade, he legitimately has a pair of What the Dunks that he wore to work for like fucking 3 years. He has another pair of shoes that are like $19,000 now that he wore plumbing and this and that. I mean, he had. I'm dead serious. Like I swear to God, like he'll show some. He actually showed some pictures in the Discord. He still has them. I mean, toes all blown out. I mean, the soles are worn down. But I mean, when he's bought some good shoes, he was also.
I saw that picture. That was him with all the worn like SBs and shit. Yeah, that was hard.
Yeah,
it's like
because I mean, like you guys, when we talked about before. I mean, up until 24 months ago, SBs were fucking shit shoes. I mean, no one, they weren't flippable and the whole 9 yards. And now
that was like $20,000 worth of sneakers and shit just worn up.
Yeah,
like,
easily,
dude.
Oh yeah, like the Paris Dunk thing, man. That's a bit of a what do you call it? Not a scam.
Is that the one with the pigeon on it?
No, fuck the pigeon dunks. Nah. Fuck Jeff Staple. Sorry.
See, this is the 70. I want to find like a list of all this shit that pisses 78 off, so we can just like
once put it all on one.
What about just once a week? Once a week.
Jeff Staple can design. He can design well. Like his team is not bad designers, but like the dude's just talking about that pigeon dunk for the last 25 years. Let me tell you about guys pulled a gun out in front of the store. Fucking get over it, man. Come on.
Well, it seems like the pigeon dunks, those
the pigeon dunk, that was kind of like the thing that broke the bubble, in my opinion.
Yeah,
like, it was just stupid.
I remember how crazy those shoes were.
Yeah, but like the Paris
Paris
dunks, the Paris dunks were like they had like a canvas and it had like artwork on it. And it had like a beige with like some highlight colors on it. It was released in Paris and it was an ad event. Problem is, only a couple cats like secured the lot, and they're the ones. When I saw that happening, they started. I said, "Oh shit! If you get in the right spot, right place, you can fucking dictate the market."
Oh, for
The
sure.
couple guys that controlled that fucking Paris dunk, man, they're still in the game now, and they're some of the bigger players in that resale flip game.
Do you remember
Dude,
the Uncle Dunks 78?
Oh yeah, I skated those.
What? You skated them?
Yeah,
Oh,
the Uncle Highs, right? So
yeah.
the Dunkles, because I worked in a skate store when that dropped, and hey, a full size run.
Nice.
So I was like, yeah, I'll take a full size run, thanks. And that was around the same time the HTM Air Force One re-release with the Croc skin and things like that. That was also a nice. Yeah, I don't know if you guys, if you're into sneakers and you're on Instagram, you probably know my buddy Gusto from Australia. He's like one of the biggest flippers in Japan, and that was the shoe, that HTM Air Force One. That was the shoe that he resold to get his ticket.
You guys know I'm
Yeah.
not very active on Instagram. I have
Oh,
no.
You're not?
Nah. But just moving on they're not calling it Yeezy Day, but Trey, the past couple years it's been called Yeezy Day. It's just a day with nothing but drops. Yeezy drops from I think they start at like 5 in the morning till 6 in the afternoon. I'm not sure if they're gonna do that with the Yeezys this year, but the one shoe I did want to point out was the Pirate Black 350s that are coming out. Yeah, so this is the first time they're re-releasing them since 2016. So, and the saying, I guess, within the bodying community about a black Yeezy is you can never go wrong with a black Yeezy if you want to flip it, because those are the one all black Yeezy will flip. But I'm not sure if you guys saw any of the other shoes that were releasing on this Yeezy Day that caught your eye.
Dude, am I crazy, or is that the Adidas confirmed app exclusives and what was that, the carbon something else,
Yeah, that looks like a new SKU. I thought it was belugas, but I don't think it's belugas. It's a new SKU.
I've never owned a pair of Yeezys, but I wouldn't mind all black pair.
Yeah, all black.
Respect Omar.
It seems like they're
Respect Omar.
they seem like they're comfy.
Neither
and
have
shit.
I. Fuck that shit.
I'd wear. I've seen them. I think the designs are like tripped out, but like they do look comfy. And I feel like just going to the store or something, you slip some on and shit, some basketball shorts. Like, yeah, I rock them.
Dude, the Yeezys the denim blue Yeezys are my go-to everyday shoe. No bullshit. Like I can't tell you, they go with everything. They go with shorts. They go with jeans. I mean, for whatever reason, that color it works for me. They're the most comfortable shoe. They're perfect for like airports. They slip on, they slip off. You can run in them. I mean, they're basically like in a fucking tennis shoe Croc. I mean, they really are. Yeah. You can slide them on and off like sandals. You can run in them if you had to. You can kick. You can do all kinds of shit in Yeezys. You can hoop in them. I'm a huge fan of them. I mean, what's crazy was
a question about this drop or what's happening. Are these old stock they're clearing out, or are these actually sort of scheduled releases?
It's funny.
Now, if this is old stock, this just like, if you were a sneaker collector and trying to find the rare, this is just like proof that the amount of shit that they produce is not what they tell you.
Oh yeah, I mean, they were sitting on these for I don't know how long, but so the interesting thing is on the confirmed app, I don't know if you checked it out, Trey. So all sales are final. You can't return them, and they don't ship until 23 days after the initial release. So I don't know what's going on there, kind of some fuckery, but and they increased the price. The 350s are $230. I think they're prior to the previous releases, they were like $215, $220, something around there. So a lot of unfortunately.
If you remember last year's Yeezy Day, it was one of the fucking. I mean, that's what honestly was the first crack in the Kanye Adidas fucking relationship, because I guess Adidas dropped a whole bunch of retired Yeezys that Yeezy didn't want being resold, and dropped the resale value on a ton. I think what was the
Turtle Doves?
The turtle dove. That's exactly what it was. And there was a bunch of shoes that he was not happy that was part of Yeezy Day that he didn't authorize. And that next couple weeks, he went kind of went off the fucking wagon, said a bunch of stupid shit. So I wonder if this extra price increase is for him to get that his cut off top again, and that way 15%. Adidas isn't going to lose any money.
It would make sense.
Those shoes aren't worth $200. I mean, we all know, like I said, you can go on the bootleg sites and get those. I mean, like Ralph said, there's copies out there you can pay $35 for that'll fucking pass StockX.
Yeah,
this is
authentication.
This is basically the last time you can get any Yeezy shoe, like
pretty much
with the Yeezy branding and stuff. I mean, I think they might still use the silhouettes and like the designs, or no.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Adidas and Yeezy, dropping something, this is the last time. But like you said, Yeezy he may, switch something up and release a Yeezy in the future. But as far as Adidas and Yeezy together, this is the last, is what they're saying. The last of what they have.
Damn.
It could be. I mean, I don't think these are gonna. I don't think the Yeezys, especially the popular colors, I don't think they're going to go down much. I think they're going to start creeping back up in price, and I wouldn't be surprised 3-4 years down the road. These shoes are, these $250, $350 shoes right now are in the $700, $800 range. Because I mean, people are wearing these shoes, and then I mean, it's going to be interesting, like 78 said, to see exactly how many of these are made, how much they have in warehouses, et cetera, see how much they are going to flood the market, but.
Like the gray pair there on the top left with the orange strip.
Oh yeah,
how many times has that been released, man?
Yeah, it's definitely not the first, and it's not a popular, model silhouette. Slides will definitely. It was initially maybe, but 350s and 450s foam runners, those are like the heavy hitters, and slides obviously, but I don't know if it's going to be a crazy easy day. Like I said, Pirate Blacks and the Onyx 350s, it's like another all black Yeezy, and the foam runners, those will probably do well. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Travis Scott's going to drop another Air Jordan. He's going to do a 3, and he's going to put a backward check on it. No, I'm kidding. At 78, wait, a backward check on the 3. But no, so the rumor is that they're supposed to drop. I think it's holiday time. There is no mock-ups or anything. Well, there is a mock-up with the backward check, but as a joke. But I mean, I'd be interested to see what they look like. Travis Scott rarely I mean, as far as a Jordan, he has misses obviously with the Air Max, but most of his Jordans he's pretty on point with it. So
yeah,
dude, you know what's I like those fragments more and more. It's one of those ones where I think those black, white, and blue fragments are going to continue to go up and up and up. They're about
the first ones.
Yeah, the high tops.
Fucking hell! I had those in my hand for 500. I was like, nah, fuck that.
Dude, I think they're here. I look at everything in a size 11 because that's my size now. I don't.
Oh, fuck you! Me too, man. Shit.
Well, if you ever need some shit, let me know. But they're on StockX for about $1,400 for 11s right now. I believe. I could be off. Yeah.
Really? That seems like a low.
1,400. God damn.
Hold on, man.
Yeah,
you know me. I get I'm on enough pain pills still. Could be talking out of my ass. So.
And just the other Jordan that's releasing real quick is military 4s. I'm not sure if you guys remember those. The 4s with the light, like not baby blue, but it's kind of like a royal blue. Those are re-releasing too.
You know what my grail pair of shoes were that I never was able to get was those fucking MF Doom high top SBs. Golly.
Yeah, I like them, but I don't know. They're all right.
Shit, never mind.
I just don't really like highs.
I was gonna. Oh, no, I'm talking about the OG frag, like they're $3,000 here.
See, I'm.
If you're looking up on StockX, look up these Galaxy foam posits. Do you guys remember when these came out and the amount of people that got killed over these shoes in 2015? It was crazy. They came out during All-Star Weekend. That's another thing I do miss is the drops that would come out during All-Star Weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, so these are re-releasing, and at the time, definitely was a shoe I wanted and I wanted to wear. But now that it's re-releasing, it's kind of like, am I really gonna wear these foam posits? Where am I gonna wear these foams? You know what I mean? But it is a shoe I've always wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I remember the all-star sneakers and shit. That was like dope, bro. I was like real sick to look at.
Yeah, this is the frag ones.
I got you.
Yeah.
3200.
Who does?
Hell no.
Like I said, you get a pair close to that on AliExpress for about 43 American bucks.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're $971. I remember when these were close to 2,000, like a couple years ago. But I guess now that the news is out that they're gonna re-release, the price is dropping on these.
And there was a thing, I think, like when you wore them, like
the NASA,
yeah,
and there was like a NASA tag on it or whatever.
Yeah.
These and the Paranormals. I don't know if you guys remember those Paranormies or something like that.
Oh, the green ones.
Yeah.
The neon ones. Yeah. That's right. Yeah,
and then
I was paying attention to everything.
And then obviously Supreme dropping an obscure silhouette here with the Nike clog posit. It's basically a foam posit, but kind of a sandal looking shoe. So, but
fuck you.
Yeah.
Have a brick. Literally.
But yeah, ton of news, man, going
see if they'll
on.
buy a brick. Oh, they will.
Yeah, Supreme will put they'll probably spray paint Supreme on a brick and sell that to somebody.
No, they made literally a brick about 12 years ago.
Did you know that, Ralph?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
like a brick, like an actual mortar brick.
Yeah,
and it had Supreme kind of, it was poured, right? So it's Supreme, and they sold it.
Do you remember the Supreme Colgate?
I do.
Yeah.
The toothpaste.
Hey man, I got a spring dog bowl.
Supreme macaroni.
Oh god damn it!
There is Supreme macaroni.
My dogs. I was like, yeah, that was a long time ago.
Cool, good stuff, Ralph.
Let me ask you real quick before we move on. I want to ask you guys, what are the there's a couple characters I see that follow. Like I remember during the pandemic, there's this guy named 2Js that I kind of followed his YouTube, and he has like a shop in Vegas and a couple other places. What are the shoe influencers that you guys actually like? That I kind of, for whatever reason, I didn't like that 2J guys after watching some of this stuff.
I found myself watching the Complex Sneakers podcast a lot more.
That's
Joe LaPuma and
Brendan
what's
Dunn.
his name? Brendan Dunn and
Welty.
Matt Welty. Yeah. They're at first I was like,
a nicely produced show, isn't it?
I think they're the most in tune with all types of shoes, like New Balance, Jordans, all that sort of stuff.
Asics, Adidas, like they kind of have a broad range of stuff, and like they have different tastes too. But like I found myself watching that, listening to that podcast like every Friday when it comes out. So, and they kind of fill you in too with like the drops of the week. So it's like you can kind of download all the information pretty quick, Man, I don't know. They just kind of have good chemistry too, talking about this stuff. So it's like.
They do.
Easy listen.
I mean, they've been around for a minute.
Yeah.
There was a couple nights ago, I got in some loop on Instagram where it was some big muscled up white dude with tattoos, and he was going around to sneaker cons buying people's tables and shit. And he was legitimately like handing $80,000 cash for the whole table, and they show the whole bartering process or whatever. And it's just like, there's a couple times where there's like some 14, 15-year-old kids, and he would buy their whole fucking table out for, $120,000, $40,000 or whatever. And it's just like, shit. I've never been to a sneaker convention, and I think I kind of want to go just to kind of see what's bullshit and what's not. I think a lot of the stuff they did is for the Instagram. I can't tell how much of it was real or not, to be honest with you. It's real easy to hand someone cash and act like you're stacking up some boxes to get some Instagram likes. But I just was curious, like what kind of volume move in those sneaker cons? You know what I mean? Is that obviously cash is king, and you're probably able, you're not going to have to deal with the StockX fees, the eBay fees, and some of the other GOAT fees and some of the other third-party fees, even eBay. But I'm kind of interested. The shoe stuff, the older I get, the more and more I kind of enjoy discussing the shoe stuff like we have been and learning a little bit more about it, because I didn't know much about Asics. I didn't know much about New Balance. So any of this little game like you guys have given us today is very helpful to these old 43-year-old fuckers like me.
I'd love to get a pair of the New Balance double taps. Those are hard. They're only released in Japan during.
Well, you got better access to that than we do.
I know, but yeah, they're fucking expensive, man. Fuck that.
You guys sell some dioramas, bro.
Omar knows.
Yeah, are you getting flooded with orders?
Omar knows. No. I just I go pretty hard.
Yeah.
I saw your last one. You only had the last one you released. The looked like
the kind of city ruins the building. Yeah.
That's because you only had 7 of them.
I only had 6.
6 of them. That's right.
The reason why is I got to move on to this thing.
Hold on, let's see this. All right.
So the reason, Omar knows I've been working on this for a minute. I'm basically doing building dioramas for the action figures based on the Mirage Studios artwork. So you can see it's like, it has the black outlines and things like that. It's all loose. Cool, man. It's all messy. Yeah. So it looks like a cartoon. Because no one.
It looks old school Ninja Turtle-y. It looks like something you see like
it's supposed to be. That's what it's meant to be. So
you nailed it.
And we got news or hints that NECA is going to be releasing a new set of Mirage Turtles. And I think Omar has always been saying it's going to be SDCC, it's going to be SB, and I think he's right. And so it's like, oh fuck, I've only got 6 weeks. I got to get cracking.
It's gonna be a huge
set. Ride that wave, ride that hype train.
What is outside of the original Ninja Turtles set? What's the Ninja Turtle set that collectors and people such as yourselves gravitate towards as far as quality, articulation, things like that? Because we got another buddy, Paul W.
Yeah, Paul. He's a turtle fiend.
He's one of the biggest Ninja Turtle fans, and I mean, every year he's excited about a release, and then when they come out, he's disappointed because the paint, the articulation.
NECA probably has the best lines right now, like series lines, out of the guys who have the licenses. But new player Mezco, who does the soft goods, like mini Hot Toys. They got a set coming out, which is kind of in between Mirage Studios and the movie. It's not quite cartoony. It still has the Mirage Studios things, but they're not doing the red bandanas. They're doing the colors.
Okay.
And that everyone's excited about that because it's a premium figure. NECA keeps their figures around $30 mark. And they do packs and stuff. But the movie stuff, NECA's the one. They're doing it, and people really like those.
Yeah, everybody kind of has their own takes on the license. 78 was saying Mezco is gonna do their version. They're gonna have a deluxe, super deluxe pack, but it's supposed to be an original take on them. And then you have Super 7. They're kind of doing the Playmates turtles from back in the day, the actual toy versions. You guys notice how those Playmates turtles from back in the day, they didn't really look like the cartoon. They don't look like the movie. They were just kind of their own version of turtles. Super 7's kind of just doing a modern, bulkier, ultimate version of that. Some people are kind of buying those. I bought a set myself, and they're cool, but it was just mostly a nostalgia pill. You know what I mean? Just kind of buying those. But then you got just third-party companies just doing their own takes on stuff.
Oh yeah.
And this is just something that this isn't licensed, so they don't have to pay any licensing fees to Playmates to make this toy. But just the sculpt on it, the paint, it's got a little soft goods on it, original design. This is what people in the action figure community would gravitate to. You know what I mean? Because it's just so original, and it's done really well. You got the katanas that can slide out, and it's you know what I mean? This is more of a premium release, so you're gonna be paying a little bit more of a premium dollar, but it's completely worth it. You know what I mean? Because
fucking A. That was one of my favorite figures last year.
Yeah. I want to sound like a hater on this, but are you guys excited about the new Ninja Turtle movies that Seth Rogen's doing? Because
I actually am, dude. Rogen? I've been hearing just things here and there about it, but I don't know. I'm excited to see it, just to see what's up with it. I know, obviously, just in movies in general and TV shows and stuff, just make it quick because I know we got to get to this comic stuff.
No, dude,
obviously there's like agendas being kind of pushed down, like, you know, coming from like the creators and stuff like that. We see that in the Marvel movies, and you know, you're gonna see that like in cartoons from here on until I don't know when, you know, whenever that kind of stuff changes. But apart from that, like, I don't know, I'm interested to kind of see the toys coming out of it. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of keeping it fun. You don't got to get too serious into it. The movie and the animation actually looks pretty decent to me, man. I'm excited for it. I'm actually looking forward to it, but I definitely see that there is like some kind of like not my TMNT. This isn't my TMNT aspect going to it, so gotta just kind of wait and see on it, man.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing is they look like. I remember I argued with Wade about it because he actually liked the trailer at the time, and he was saying that it's aimed, you know, they're teenagers.
Yeah.
So they said that there was a little bit more teenage, you know, younger, 13, 14. And I don't know. I was kind of hoping for more of the. I enjoyed the 2 live action movies when we were kids because they had a little darkness to them. You know what I mean? They had some aspects and everything else. I was kind of hoping that they would go more in that direction, you know, after the Bay thing and everything else. But it seems like they try to make them too comedic to me. I don't know if that's the right word. Instead of serious. I mean, I remember as a kid when, you know, when they thought Splinter died and all the turtles and everything else. I mean, that was
that's the thing too,
old,
like
tearing up.
It being an animation doesn't mean it can't be like dark and stuff like that, but you can definitely see the tone isn't there, you know what I'm saying? But I think like for anything, like when the studio is like deciding to make like a production like this, I think like especially for TMNT, like a lot of the driving point is the toys. So it's like if you have an animated movie, like there's a lot more you can kind of pump out as far as toys than like a dark, grittier thing. I think like as far as the Michael Bay turtles, I think there's this company named 3-0 that have produced like 1/6, but they're expensive, dude. You can't sell that to a younger kid. You can't sell that to a younger audience, you know? So like I feel like this approach to it, even though like it might be for a kid, I think their goal is to kind of maybe bring in new fans, like new blood. But I don't know. I feel like that the turtle stuff, it's like one of those blue chip properties that are gonna be like generations, you know, timeless, you know, it's just gonna span generations. So I don't know. I do think that one day they might get like back into like a dark, grittier tone of a movie. You know what I'm saying? I think they kind of, after seeing the whole Michael Bay stuff, I think they kind of wanted to backtrack on a little bit of that stuff. But I would be down for that too, honestly. Like any version of TMNT, I'd be down for, honestly. Like just.
I'm with you. I hope it's one of those properties that we're getting good turtle fucking comics and movies and TV shows until we get old and die. But it just doesn't seem like there hasn't been anything that's really got me excited turtle wise. I mean, I went and saw that last one in the theater, and it didn't. I don't know if it was the suits or whatever it was, but those original ones, I just thought they were. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think if this new one that's coming out, if they hit anything close to Spider-Verse, you know, if they take that into the Spider-Verse as their like, you know, like, oh look, we can do it like that. If they can anything close to that, it'll be a hit.
Yeah, it's like
it's
what
definitely
Codenames
them
is.
trying to get younger, newer audience, you know, to get the next generation involved, because you know, otherwise they just keep selling to us, you know, and that's the problem with all these IPs, man. They're trying to get.
Is that they're not attracting the young?
Yeah, and then if it make the young one, then we get, you know, a lot of us get upset. Oh, it's too kiddie. Yeah, well, hey, man, you watch the fucking cartoon, the original cartoon lately, it's trash. You know,
my nephew's into Star Wars. My nephew's into Star Wars, but he's not into. Like I said, I got him some black figures and stuff like that for Christmas, and I don't think he's played with them one time. I mean, it's serious. You know what I mean? Like I got him some good stuff. And
Black Series, just, right?
Yeah. Wait, what'd I say?
Black Label?
Oh, I know what he said.
Yeah, fuck. You know, I'm gonna say some dumb shit. Wade gets mad at me all the time. I'll fuck something up. And call something the wrong thing.
Now we see. I see it the same way, Trey. Like, yeah, like one of my nephews and stuff. Like, not into action figures at all, man. I bought him all kinds of stuff, you know, and it's like, yeah, he kind of has them like in his room and stuff, but it's not. It's not the same. There's just too much out there for kids to kind of get distracted from. Like, you know, just just streaming anything literally is something that I couldn't have imagined like in my childhood. You know, it's like you had to watch a TV show at that time. There was no way you were gonna rewind it or play it back or anything like that. So it's like just the amount of stuff the kids have access to now, it's very hard to kind of like keep them focused on like some simple stuff like an action figure and shit like that. But I like even then, like, yeah, like you said, like, you know, your nephew might be into Star Wars. He probably got into Star Wars because of like a cartoon or something, not because of or a video game, not because of like the original trilogy. Like that stuff might kind of seem kind of corny now. You know what I mean? Like it's just, and that's crazy to say. Like that's crazy to say. You know what I mean? But it is. It is, and that's why I feel like these companies that own these properties are like just finding new ways to kind of get it into a kid's head. You know, that's why I look at that Fortnite game and I'm like just amazed by like their approach to kind of like license everything and kind of have like this coexisting universe, and like it kind of gets kids into just different IPs, like, you know what I mean, like that they wouldn't have never had any idea about. Like I remember when they threw Ryu and Chun-Li in there, and my nephew was like, "Oh, dude, I gotta play Street Fighter," and I'm like, "What? Why you like Street Fighter all of a sudden?" "Oh, because they're in Fortnite," and I'm like, "Damn," you know. So you need stuff like that kind of bridges kids into these like different kind of properties, I guess.
Well, having said that, the toys, they're not selling to the kids.
Yeah.
The kids aren't buying the toys. They want to buy the skin. You know, they want to buy the skins. It's a different, it's a very different world.
Interesting. That's we got more action figure stuff to come on for sure.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
We do? Just kidding.
Ferd's like, fucking hell.
I just want to do I just want your intro, SMD. I just want your intro. That's all. That's all I'm waiting for.
What?
We're gonna talk some comics now, huh?
Yeah, I guess we have.
You don't sound too excited, Trey.
No, I you know what? I went and watched Fast and the Furious 10 or X, whatever the fuck. Hey, no, you know what?
I'm waiting for the segue. Let's go, man.
No, I have watched I'm one of those people. I went and saw Fast and Furious 1 in the movie theater on opening weekend. 2, I watched them all, even when there was no Paul Walker, no Vin Diesels, the Tokyo Drift. I went and saw those in the theater.
Tokyo Drift's my favorite one.
You know what? And I got to be honest, the last 2 or 3 have been horrible. And this one, they didn't go to fucking space. It didn't get cheesy. But I love the way that they bring back characters. It's you know, the writing quality is not great, but I enjoyed the movie. I really did. It was worth $15 to go watch it. But
I think you can say about every Fast and the Furious movie after Tokyo Drift. It's like, wasn't great, but I enjoyed it. Like,
the one. To be honest with you, the one where they got back together, the one that had Paul Walker and Vin Diesel, the one where they went to Brazil, where this one kind of segues into, that was a fucking great movie. You know, the car stuff.
Yeah.
Then they just got so. I mean, there's a couple car scenes that Vin Diesel does some shit in this one that. It wasn't. I mean, they didn't go to space, which is one of the craziest, worst things I've ever seen. But I mean, he did a couple things in a car where I'm like, if they sell that model fucking Dodge anywhere, I will buy that tomorrow.
God damn.
I mean, honest to God, I mean, this son of a bitch is falling off bridges and fucking dams and catching on fire. The tires don't burst. Fucking transmission's still going good. But okay, anyway, segue back. The fucking Flash trailer was on before the movie.
Oh, okay. I was like,
guys, I think people are going to, honest to God, because, you know, we're older. Michael Keaton's our Batman. People don't realize that, but a majority of us, Michael Keaton's our Batman. I think when he fucking suits up, the theater are going to go fucking nuts. I think, I mean, I don't know. I got goosebumps at the trailer again because this was the last. I hadn't seen this trailer yet, but it had a couple new pieces of footage in there where it shows like the bat jet getting knocked down by Zod and Keaton like flying out of it, his fucking wings going out, and he's like coasting. I'm excited, and I hope with Gunn taking over that this kind of re-energizes the DC comic speculation. The writing, and you know, that's one of the things right now. there's some decent writers and some artists that are actually on some of the DC books right now. I mean, they got some decent stuff coming.
Yeah.
Joshua Williamson and Jamal Campbell are killing it on Superman right now. The art on Superman is absolutely top notch. There really, really is. They're doing some interesting things. They're kind of doing the same thing they did with Batman, but with a Bat family. They're kind of made a Superman family now, where they got all the different Superboys, Supergirls, everything, and they're trying to kind of turn that into a conglomerate. It's going to be interesting to see what they do there. You know, you got the John Kent stuff with Tom Taylor and Clayton Henry, which, I mean, I was such a damn John Kent fan. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with that. I still have giant issues with them literally, you know, aging a character up 12, 13 years to put him in a sexual relationship for a comic books to sell. The dynamic that him and Damian had in Super Sons was some of my favorite comic book stuff. I mean, it really was. It was a great storyline. It was interesting to see Bruce and Clark Kent as dads as opposed to superheroes and how they interacted with the kids, things like that. So I think I'm more pissed off that we don't get to see that anymore than anything. But Tom Taylor, I'm not a big fan of him personally, but the guy is one of the most talented writers that are out right now. He does some really good stuff. I mean, the Injustice stuff is, I think that's going to be a timeless, you know, property. I mean, I watched it a couple of days ago, the animated version of that. God damn, it's good. To watch Superman fucking lose his shit, kill the Joker, and kind of go rogue bad guy. I like that storyline. I like how Batman was the one who's going to, you know, obviously try to stop him from killing and going down that road. Makes a lot of sense. That's what Batman's always been scared of, that if Superman goes rogue and decides to become, you know, the police of the world, that there's going to be a problem. So I don't know.
Trey, I got a question for you.
Shoot.
So, like, in Marvel, I feel like where they really failed was like making B-list characters into A-list characters, right? It's kind of where it fell apart. Do you think that B-list characters in DC are far more superior than B-list characters in Marvel?
I do, because, you know, the thing about DC is you know, they have the pillars. What happened?
Oh no, I'm just like let's argue. Come on, let's argue.
No, I'm good at that.
No, I was just curious.
Do you guys consider John Constantine, Swamp Thing? Do you consider those be characters?
I do.
Not
I do, but they're good.
They're almost
You
C
know?
characters. Like, you really break them down.
Constantine's had a movie with Keanu Reeves, so I would consider him B going to A.
I think Constantine is the one that they need to build the universe around. Personally, I think I don't know
if they did that. That'd be amazing. It'd go.
If you guys, if they used him as the Iron Man character that Marvel did on kind of building the universe, I think that's where they need to go with it. Because I've talked about this a lot nauseum, but the DC animated stuff is some of the best media that you can watch. And John Constantine is the major. Batman and John Constantine are in every single major DC animated movie, and they work. John Constantine, for whatever reason, he just makes things go really, really well. He has good banter. He's cocky. He has that same brashness that Tony Stark does, and he's also, a powerful magician. All the different things. So I think if they concentrate on characters like Swamp Thing and Constantine and maybe the Teen Titans as opposed to the Wonder Womans, Supermans, and the Batmans, I think they need to let those titles breathe a little bit. After the Wonder Woman 1984, after the Justice League or whatever, I don't know if people are ready to dive back into those movies, but I think if they use the right characters to slow build back up into some major stuff, do what Marvel did. Take the 5 to 10 fucking years. Don't try to do things too fast. You know what I mean? Do it right. Get a good Shazam. Get a good Black Adam. Who else? Who am I missing?
Well, go ahead, Trey.
No, Dead Man. They have so many really good like a Justice League Dark makes more sense to me than a regular
I was just
Justice
gonna say
League.
that you're telling us to make a Justice League Dark,
which would be great because you could still use Superman, you can still use Batman, you can still use all the main pillars of the DC universe, but they don't have to carry the whole story.
I think they can start with an A-list character, but they can't just like stay A-list. I think they can start with like a Superman, but then from there they have to kind of go to a more obscure. I don't want to even call them obscure, but lesser known, and then kind of build both of them at the same time. But you can't just go from Superman to Batman to Wonder Woman. Like that would just be a flop. I think if you start with Superman, from there you have to kind of go to like maybe like you were saying, like a John Constantine, or even like Green Lantern. I don't see him get a lot of love, but like even him, like I would have wanted them to kind of start off with the Green Lantern story because it's like it's still kind of up there in that A-list, but it's not Batman and it's not Superman, and it's something that we haven't really gotten in a while, but. I don't know. I'm excited for the James Gunn stuff. I kind of have faith that he's kind of going to do right.
Yeah.
Because I mean, this is the opportunity of a lifetime, really. Like, this is it for him. Like, you know what I mean?
He's a main man. But he's also, I think he's in a no lose situation, which is also really cool. You know what I mean? Like, the only way is up, man. The only way is up, guys.
But look at what he's also done, though. I think he's brought Taskmaster. Does anybody, or not Taskmaster, Peacemaker. Did anybody care about Peacemaker?
About
like nobody cared about him.
List character, man.
And dude, that show was fucking badass. John Cena was good in that.
And now, how many comics is he getting? Like, there's like a one on FOC like every other month.
Dude, that comic book is good, man. It's funny. It's really good.
Yeah. And I was just gonna say, it just dovetails back to the first thing here. The first point: good writing. For me, actually, it don't matter if it's an A-list, B-list, C-list. Good writing. Good writing, that's all you need, man. Look at Guardians, man. Those were terrible characters, man. And we were all like, what the fuck is Marvel doing? Everyone was like, nah, it's gonna be bad, it's gonna be bad, it's gonna be bad. It's the best trilogy they've done.
I remember, I mean, that was when I first got into comic speculation, kind of first started CBSI when the Guardians news broke. And I remember people trying to figure out who the team was going to be.
Johnny.
And people making, people making fun of Rocket Raccoon. Who the fuck Star-Lord? Groot's a fucking tree. How is all this going to work? And like 78 said, it's their best trilogy without question. Iron Man trilogy wasn't very good. The Thor trilogy is not very good, all things considered. The best trilogy, I mean, Guardians 2 is not the greatest movie, but 1 and 3 are really fucking strong. And 2 wasn't horrible because it introduced some interesting things.
Yeah.
So
here's the thing. When you first saw Guardians trade, did you think at the end of this trilogy you would care about most the character you would care about most would be Rocket Raccoon at the end of all this?
Exactly.
Dude, you would have never thought that, right? And that's, I think, a credit to James Gunn.
Absolutely. No, and here's the thing. To make Star-Lord, I mean, if you'd have told me a guy with a fucking crazy mask and laser guns was going to – I remember if you haven't watched Guardians 3 by now, I'm sorry, cover your ears. But when he was about to die in space, he was freezing to death.
Yeah.
I had my hands over my head like this. I could not believe that that's how he was going to go out, how Star-Lord was going to die like that. And I mean, everyone thought that Rocket was going to be the one who died. And I thought that they pulled old switcheroo and were going to kill Star-Lord.
That's what everybody said. Until I forgot.
It was, I mean, I didn't cry, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think if he did, it would have been difficult not to fucking have a tear form in my eye, being dead honest. So for me to care about those characters that much, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's
what is
the
he?
thing.
He's the writer. That's all it is.
And when you care about a character that's not real, the writer and the movie producers are doing a good job. And that's what Marvel was so fucking good at. I mean, they have someone. Right. I can't watch the scene at the end of Endgame when everything's about over with. Captain America and Thor's ass are whooped, and all of a sudden you hear, "Hey, Cap, on your left," and you start to see the portals open.
That shit was sick.
Don't do it. Don't stop talking. Stop talking.
Right. I can't watch that shit without getting goosebumps to this day. Or the scene in Infinity Wars when Captain America and Scarlet Witch. I'm fucking way off. Black Widow in the subway station.
Oh, the subway, and they come out of the shadows.
Yeah. Those, I mean, they
catches
were
the spear and shit. Yeah.
Yes. There's so many of those little moments in those Marvel movies that were so well done. That's why everyone was excited. They were, for premiere night, so they could go with their buddies or their family members to go catch those moments. And that's what they've done a poor job of in the last 4 years. So I'm hoping that Gunn can figure that out. Honestly, one of the other scenes, and DC had it with Wonder Woman, that No Man's Land scene in Wonder Woman 1, where she comes out of the trench.
Out of the trenches, yeah, that's right.
It's one of the greatest comic book scenes that I've ever seen. I mean, it's one of those ones that gives me goosebumps even talking about it. So Gunn has to figure out a way to make these DC legacy characters have those same kind of moments. So I just don't know if, do they go Nightwing? Do they,
That's a good call.
I think, dude, honestly, that's one of the reasons when they said that they were going to start off with Batman with the Damian Wayne, I was like, you know what? That's just because they can have Nightwing out there already. Like, it wasn't like they're going to have to build up to Nightwing. It's like, okay, now you have like this freaking golden goose like out there already that like you'll be able to tell his story. You'll be able to have flashback scenes to him and Bruce as Robin. So it's like, yeah, I thought that was like major because a lot of people were not feeling that. They wanted like Batman from like year one, and then he gets Robin, he gets Dick, and then it's like, nah, dude, nah, you want to have Nightwing already out there on the loose and shit like that because he's gonna attract a lot of audience, man. So
he's a super popular character, and you said it best. Damian's my favorite comic book character and has been for 10 years. He's a little asshole. He can fight. He's Raja al Ghul's grandson. I mean, there's so many different layers to that. He's fighting to be good to impress his dad. There's so many layers that they can do with that. Is he going to be a superhero? Is he going to turn out to be a supervillain? Jim Lee and a lot of people said that they want him to be the Magneto of the DC universe, which is, kind of a good guy, but also has his moments as a bad guy. So, and if you've read, a lot of people have read the Batman and Robin run with Dick as Batman after Bruce passed away from the dark side thing and was in the different multiverses trying to get back. There's a couple people in the DC universe that Damian respects, and Nightwing's one of them.
Yeah.
So there's so many things that they could do with that, the movie wise. They got to get the casting right. That's the key. Gunn's good at casting. I mean, for him to pick, Peter Quill, what's the guy's name? Chris Pratt as Peter, that who would have pulled that out of their ass? He was a chubby guy from Parks and Rec.
Exactly. He was a chubby guy from Parks and Rec, man.
And for him to see that vision and realize that was the guy that they needed to be Star-Lord. I mean, the same thing. I mean, as Bautista's Drax and a bunch of the different things he's done as casting wise, I'm excited. I just don't know. It's going to be interesting to see after the Flash what they decide to do, because the little Flash actor is a little asshole. He's got all kinds of problems. So are they going to have to recast the Flash again? What are they going to do? So I don't know. I'm excited. I haven't been this excited about DC in a very, very long time. They're very, very close to getting their comic book division back. They're also, like I said, in the next 36 months, it's going to be interesting to see what James Gunn does. This writer's strike needs to fucking end, or we're going to be a lot longer on a lot of this stuff, to be honest with you. There's people talking about this writer's strike not ending until fall. So that's going to throw a lot of things out of whack, depending on what goes on. What are you guys excited about? I mean, other than, we got the creature commandos coming out, the Authority, which I know Ferd was really excited about at one point in time. I don't know much about the Authority, but the people who have read it,
my jam.
A lot of people like it. And do you think
the Authority
that could be the Guardians
of long story short, the Authority with Ellis and then Morrison and all the the key ingredient was writers. They had the best writers. They had the best writers doing that book. That gave birth to the Ultimates universe. Which gave birth to the MCU. Yeah. And now that DC is doing the Authority, for me, that was, it wasn't so much, oh, they're going to do the Authority. It was like, yo, we recognize this is a good story. We recognize writing. We recognize we need to come back to that. That was the thing that got me most excited.
It definitely got my ears like, you know, I was shocked that they announced it now, but I was stoked at the same time. You know, out of all the common ones you're gonna announce for DC characters, like, and you come in like with the Authority, I was like, yeah, I'm down for that.
And it gives that freedom as well, right? Again, it's like nobody knows. The mainstream doesn't know who the fuck these people are, right?
Yeah,
it gives you that freedom. So instead of zigging, you can zag.
Do you think that's his guard? Do you think that is the equivalence to the Guardians being introduced?
100%. Yeah.
Now, there's also something there that all the Authority stuff had a more mature, fuck you, don't give a shit attitude when they were coming out in the books. And that was refreshing. It was kind of like superhero books written for 20-year-olds, you know, when it was being done, right? When Ellis was, you know, he came from Stormwatch. He basically took a leftover thing in Image Comics, Stormwatch, and Jim Lee said, have at it. You know, Wallace and Jim said, have at it. And he took it in this direction that made Authority, and then the big one, Planetary. Now, Planetary was always written and designed as a movie screenplay. Like, he said, Warren Ellis from the very beginning is like, I'm doing this as either long form TV show with a huge budget or multiple movies. Like, he made that, and he was always very conscious it's going to be this small team, and he made the bombastic scenes, and you know, the book had to like double page spread. He was always aware of the format. Yeah, Warren Ellis is, you know, free Warren Ellis for real, fighting code names. He had some bad stuff happen or bad press in the last few years, but that dude, man, his work, that's a gold mine for stuff. You know, you got Transmetropolitan. The other thing with DC, you have Vertigo right in the middle here, man. That is something that, you know, growing up in the 90s, I mean, that was my jam. That was like, you know, comics for more mature readers, you know, different kind of stories. That's a huge thing that they can tap into. Sandman was rather successful on Netflix. Yeah, that is a gaming property, but Vertigo itself has a lot of stuff we can tip into, you know, whether it is the darker magic stuff, I think, but there's something there as well. But again, it all just comes down to this point. Good writing. You got to have good writing, man.
I don't know, Omar, I don't know if you...
That first movie, sorry, Trey, I just wanted to mention, if they got to get that first movie out, and they got to get it right, which I think it's Superman, right? Is Superman the first? I think that's kind of the one, which is probably going to be the backbone. But if it can't be mid, and it can't just be okay. It has to, you know, it has to kind of set the tone for everything else, I think.
Isn't it? I think Creature Commandos is going to be the first thing that Gunn releases, and it's an animated series.
Thing, yeah, like on HBO Max, right?
Right. And like you guys said, Peacemaker was a DF character, and that show was absolutely fucking amazing. I'm not a huge John Cena fan, but he's Peacemaker. And anyone who plays Peacemaker other than him is not going to work. And I'm actually excited about the second season of that. The ending of season 1 was one of the end scene at 1 was one of the better scenes of any TV show, to be honest with you.
And that first episode was awesome as well.
Yeah,
like really as a piece of TV, you know, like a 1-episode intro to that was so good.
With his racist dad, the whole 9 yards. Yeah. There was a lot of layers to it.
Oh my god!
But I don't know, Omar, if you saw this or not, but they're planning on doing a Lanterns show which literally has all the Green Lanterns, and I think that's the only way the Green Lanterns work. Because there's so many people that are in the Jon Stewart camp. There's so many people in the Hal Jordan camp. There's so many different people. There's so many different Green Lanterns. And so many. Which Kyle? Well, there's a lot of people in the Kyle camp. And who's the asshole redheaded guy with the short hair? I don't know.
Guy Gardner.
Oh my god. I fucking hate Guy Gardner. Like I said, my favorite.
I love to hate him. Justice League International was good, man.
You remember what Doomsday did to him when Doomsday was going through Metropolis? Is one of my favorite scenes in comic book history. But
I think you're right though. You're not going to be able to confuse people once you introduce like all of them at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Because if you introduce Jon Stewart, there's going to be like, oh man, we want to Hal. And you know,
I personally,
people are going to have their favorites. Yeah, I feel like if they introduce all of them or like a good majority of them, and then you kind of have like, obviously Jon Stewart or Hal Jordan kind of like leading the pack as far as like charisma and everything that, you know, everything that kind of goes into their characters and stuff. And then people from there, they can kind of have their favorites and shit like that. But I feel like having at least two of them, at least the two that kind of people will be backing, I think that's going to be key too. Because yeah, if they kind of just start off with like Hal Jordan, you know, there's going to be people like, oh, I wish they would have had Jon Stewart. You know, he's got more of like leadership, you know, in him and stuff like that. So I don't know.
I just think that they've done the Hal stuff with the fucking him being a pilot and all the different things. I think there's just been that's been done so many times that the Jon Stewart stuff just makes a lot more sense. And I think it's just going to be interesting because, I mean, if they do the Green Lanterns right and they make a good space cop deal out of it and do like, what's the right word for it? What do they call it? Like the space stuff, the interplanetary stuff. If they can do that right and use that to kind of bridge. Yeah, cosmic. That's what it was. I can't fucking think tonight. But I'm telling you, I got all these shit in my head and I can't come out with the right words. So, but the cosmic angle, that can lead to so many things because DC has a pretty crazy cosmic stuff. I mean, that leads to apocalypse and different things. So I'm excited. I'm positive that I think if you read the early reviews of Flash, Stephen King apparently saw it last week. I'm not Stephen King.
Saw that.
Whatever your opinion of him is, but he knows he knows, you know, good writing and things like that. And he said that the movie's really, really, really good. Said the writing is good, the acting's good, the story's good. So
the one, I guess, non-spoiler review that I heard that was kind of like, oh, I don't know, is they compared it to No Way Home, where like the first hour was kind of not boring, but it was just like okay, but the last hour and 20 minutes is just like crazy.
I think it looks good, but I think the one thing that kind of is like I'm kind of iffy about is the Supergirl.
See, I'm excited about that.
Really? She looks kind of off to me, but I'm like, you know what? It's like some kind of multiverse. Yeah, she kind of looks a little, I don't know, just not how I picture Supergirl, but it's like, I don't know. I kind of just attribute it to like, there's some kind of multiverse going on. So it's like,
no, you're not wrong. That was the Kara Zor-El. There's been a couple iterations of Supergirl. If you go look at the histories of them, there hasn't been. There's been a couple in the Injustice world that there were some brunettes and some things like that. So
okay,
I don't disagree with you. Most people expect a long blonde haired, you know, but having a mid short haired brunette chick, kind of badass. I'm curious to see what they do with it. I'm curious to see what her origin is exactly. And I like Michael Shannon. I thought Michael Shannon was a fucking really good Zod.
Yeah,
I think Michael Shannon in anything's really, really good. So I'm excited to see him, Keaton. I mean, obviously Affleck's going to be in. I'm not spoiling anything. And there's supposed to be a couple crazy cameos, like crazy cameos. No spoilers if anybody knows anything. So, but I don't know.
I got to come back on that Supergirl thing. Like the first thing I saw that was, they're going to make her turn bad. Like she has that look, like she could, you know, be the villain. Like okay.
Well, if you remember, at one point in time, she was Darkseid corrupted her.
They're gonna do like a Red Sun thing on her, you know.
I'm not mad at that either if it's done right. So.
Yeah, no, I've some people I know that have seen it that aren't, you know, into this, and they're just casual watchers, and they said it's the best superhero film they've ever seen. Like, oh
man,
all right,
oh god,
best. Damn.
Yeah, but that's you know the casual viewer. So if the casual viewer responds like that, it could be really good for DC.
That's true.
For them to produce this movie and still put it out after the shit that Ezra has
exactly
done,
yeah,
it has to be fucking good. It just has to be. It sucks because that guy's a little asshole. So we'll see what happens. We'll move on. We spent way too much time on that section. Ferd's getting mad at me. I can tell by his eyes. He's on page 83 of Pornhub.
Yeah, I was like, what happened to Kid Venom?
I actually kind of, you know, there's been some horrible, all this kid stuff and Spider-Boy and this like this, but this past week in Extreme Venomverse 2, there was a new character introduced called Kid Venom. He is, he's created by a certain manga artist called Taigami of Unsung Hero. I don't know. I something about the character, something about his look. I could see this being a decent long-term character. What do you guys think? Do you think there's any spec in any of these symbiotes any of the symbiote stuff anymore.
I feel like the name, like, why did it have to be Kid Venom? I feel like when you put Kid and something after that, it's just kind of corny.
I think it had to do. I thought the same thing, but I think it has to do with the Japanese translation. 78 points might know a little bit more about.
I would have to plead ignorance on that. I don't know about that. I have a personal bias. I just don't fuck with symbiote stuff. It's just too much. Literally all that. When it started
the name is like, I don't know. The name sounds kind of iffy, but it's like the concept is cool because it's like Miles Morales. It's like, what does he tell people his name is? His superhero name is his actual name. It's like, wait, what's your name? Like, what is it like? Flip or what was his name? It's like some weird shit that nobody really even knows.
They were trying to do that for a minute. Yeah.
But like the concept of Miles Morales is cool, but it's like, what does he tell people like his superhero name is? Like, he's not Spider-Man. You can't tell him like, I'm Miles Morales. Like, we know him as Miles Morales, but he doesn't really have like an actual superhero name or anything like that. Like, to this day, even like, you know, we're going into that second movie like hyped as hell, but he doesn't really. We just know him as his government name. It's crazy.
No, you're not wrong. That's exactly right. I mean, more people call him Miles. They don't call him Spider-Man. So
yeah.
So, but what's interesting about the Kid Venom thing to me is that he's a Japanese character, which there's not a. I mean, there's more and more Asian characters. Many, There's not many, so it's going to be interesting to see if Marvel leans into this or not. And I don't know. I think with speculation dead and buried, I think buying books like this on the cheap and throwing them in a box for a couple of years isn't a bad investment. I mean, I bought multiples of that Rec Rap during the dark. What was it? The dark. What's the last big crossover event that had Madeline Pryor and
Dark Web.
Dark Web. Dark Web. The Ben Reilly deal. That demon character called Rec Rap that tried to turn good and he ended up coming off the pages. So we're definitely going to see him back around again. So I bought multiples of those. I just think that, I don't know. I saw this. I haven't read it yet, so I can't talk out of my ass about it. But I thought the character concept looked interesting. He looked kind of like a Nightcrawler looking dude. You know?
I was confused. It was like a Nightcrawler little elf guy.
Yeah, you're right. Like the concept is cool. It sounds cool. Like, but that's why like you kind of need other stuff added to it, man. You know what I mean? Like you need, like in that Dark Web, like that Chasm character. There's already a Marvel Legends out for that. So it's now you got people that are in the action figure community that don't read the comics. All of a sudden now they're in the know of Chasm. So it's like, it's official. You can kind of officially kind of put them in the books as far as like a legit character. So it's like, I don't know, for this, it's like, I don't know if they can make a character out of it or an action figure, out of it, or throw them in some kind of movie or something. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to kind of spec on characters now, right? Like in the comics and shit, because you just kind of end up kind of flailing out.
I think comic speculation became popular because of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Mm-hmm. People were trying to speculate on what characters were going to show up, et cetera, et cetera. So now with the properties and the MCU down and entertainment as a whole down, the comic wise, speculation's hard because 95% of the people who collect comics, they don't read their fucking comics. They're listening to shows like ours. They're listening to other shows, listening to what other people tell them to buy. Right. And a lot of time it's the fucking blind leading the blind. So the more and more people who actually read their comics right now and know what's inside of them, know what the characters are doing, this and that, they have a huge leg up if speculation ever takes off again. But I don't think it's going to take off again until unless DC gets their shit together and Marvel figures out what they need to figure out to get back on track, which I don't know if they're going to. I mean, I hope they do. I really do. Like I said, I can't tell you how much I enjoyed 5-6 years ago for movie premiere night on Thursday night at midnight for the IMAX release. I remember the energy, the whole 9 yards.
That's what I was telling 78, man. I'm like jaded off of the MCU stuff. Like I just kind of wait for it on Disney Plus now. Like that Guardians of the Galaxy, I kind of already heard the spoilers and stuff. I wanted to go watch it, but I was like, nah, I already paid for the subscription. I'll just wait for it to come out. And like, even like being spoiled to me, like it's not gonna ruin it for me. I'll still enjoy it, but like it's just a lot of the stuff, like too many Thor, Love and Thunders, too much of that stuff. It was just like, what the hell is this stuff? You know what I'm saying? Oh man,
Quantumania was one of the worst. I literally multiple times almost walked out of Quantumania. I'm not even shitting you.
I can't even like imagine like a year ago before that movie came out, like the hype around that movie. Like I couldn't wait to see that movie. And then when I heard the reaction to it, I was like, you know what, man, I'm good. I'm not gonna spend my money on this because it's like, for what? Like, you know, just kind of come out pissed off and stuff like that. Like, nah, I'm all right. So I don't know.
I like Paul Rudd, but like I said, I've just never been a Kane guy. I was excited about Thanos because you knew it was going to happen. You know, Thanos had the ability to fucking, and what happened when he got the Infinity Gauntlet. Kane, I mean, Kang's a powerful villain based on his abilities and time traveling, but I just didn't. I wasn't excited about him being villain. I'm excited about Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
You know, there's a couple other villains.
They're like equally like powerful too, right? But like I would kind of even rank Kang like as a poor man's Doctor Doom almost, like as far as like hierarchy and villains and shit like that. Like he's powerful, but he's not Doom. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. So, but I'm still looking forward to like watching it on Disney Plus and kind of seeing his like portrayal of it. I guess the actor, but just hearing the story of it, it's like, oh man, like did they really waste this villain already? Like on this kind of bunk story? Like I don't know. So
I'm excited about Magneto potentially down the road, depending on what they do with the mutants. It's going to be interesting to see who their big villain's going to be. Is it going to be Sinister? They already done too much Magneto. It's going to be interesting to see exactly what they do with the mutants and when they finally bring them on, because you're hearing more and more stuff about Fantastic Four. You're hearing more and more stuff about that stuff than you're hearing with anything mutant related. But I mean, I'm kind of changing. I don't know if you guys saw this. But there is some news out about Deadpool 3. Rob Liefeld on Twitter a couple days ago came out and said that people might be mistaken about what's going on in Deadpool 3. He said it is more of a Wolverine movie than it is a Deadpool movie as of right now, which I thought is fucking really interesting. I'm okay with that because Hugh Jackman is my Wolverine. Yeah. And I thought I think Logan's one of the top 5 best superhero movies that's ever been done. Last Logan 10, 15 minutes movie. Of Logan. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm excited to see
it's
the
so
dynamics.
Good that you don't want more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I am
just end it there, right?
That was a nice ending.
Yeah.
That Steelbook goes for quite a bit too, right? Trey, you spec on that Steelbook for Wolverine, right?
Yeah, that Best Buy one, it doesn't do too bad at all. It had that. There's a couple versions. There was a Nora version that Best Buy did. There's a couple other ones that came with it. So
you know, just to dovetail back onto the Kang thing, I agree. Kang has always been a bit of a bitch. The idea of him being the character, I agree. Like it wasn't too exciting. But Jonathan Majors, before all this shit, he's the thing that got me excited.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, oh fuck, he was really good in that Lovecraft show, and I got really excited by that. And what he did in Loki, and then yeah, it was interesting how the actor's performance and who he was, the presence, made me excited on that.
Fighting Codenames has an interesting point. He said the X-Men actors are still under the Fox contracts until 2025. I did not know that.
Yes, that's why they're not saying anything. They're doing it all
need to bring
away. That's a goddamn fuck.
They need to bring Famke back. Famke's my fucking Jean Grey. So.
Good job.
Real quick, just some magazine market stuff I saw. So Bayou Barbie came out. SI card, she's on the cover. She's also on SI swimsuit issue. I guess she's in the guts. But I was texting Trey and some of the guys on OTR about that swimsuit issue. And who's that? Who's that LSU gymnast? What's her name?
Lily. Not Lily.
Olivia Dunn.
Olivia Dunn. Yeah. So there's a dude in the chat. I forgot who it was, but he's really into just like Sports Illustrated, like cards, the cards that come out. So initially my thought process was to get the Bayou Barbie just because she's on the cover of this. She's kind of hot right now. She's still got a year left in college, and the card, this is her first appearance. So I picked up a few copies, but he said to look out for her SI first card, which I think is a really, really good play. Just because of the amount of NIL money she's getting. I think she's got one more year left in college. so there's still a bit of like time for her to rise her star. If you guys don't know, she's like the most followed.
She's got like a lot of attitude too, right? So she's
yeah. She's got
you could see like a big personality in her. I could see like a lot of sponsors going her way, but
for sure.
At the same time, you got to kind of tone some of that shit down, man. I mean, look at John Morant. Like that dude, that dude's got too much going on, man. So that's like.
Here's the thing about her, and she's exactly right. She's super popular on social media. She's a mediocre gymnast. She's got zero chance of going to the Olympics. Yeah. What's it? I mean, so like, how is that card going to increase in value? Because she's an attractive gymnast. That's where her pull is, and like you said, she's got a little bit of attitude. So in 24 months' time, what's going to make that card continue to go up in value? She's not going to do anything gymnastics-wise that's going to put her in any type of conversations about being a good gymnast. I mean, she's a D1 gymnast. Obviously, that's not easy to come by. But how exactly is that card going to go up? Like, what is she going to do that's going to allow that card to make people want to buy it?
So I thought that too. The one thing I could think of is she turns into Anna Kournikova and she becomes a model, stops playing tennis. Kournikova got real popular after, she was done playing tennis. But then she kind of went, she kind of stepped away from the spotlight. But I know it's kind of, it could be like a flash in the pan, but I just figured like, if she does end up NSI for kids, just flip it, buy a couple copies and flip them for $25 to $50.
It kind of reminds me of the Cavender twins, the chicks from Miami. They had that hype, and now I think they're gonna go to the WWE, but nobody really talks about them anymore.
Yeah, they retired from. I saw that, and then they one of them got mad because they got catcalled last week. I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. And then just a couple graded magazines. I still think we're really early on it. It could be nothing, or it could just take time to kind of come to fruition. But that Pujols first appearance SI went for 209.6, and this is kind of weird. So Messi World Cup cover from 2014, and 8.0 went for 1,600. What's the significance of him in 2014? Was that like his third World Cup or like what? Do you guys know?
That's his first. I don't know if it was his first World Cup or
no, it wasn't his first. I think his first was like in 2000. It was 2014, 2010. And I think he was in 2006. He was in 2006 Germany, and then he was in South Africa, and then 2014 was Brazil. I don't know. He made it to the final, but he got beat by Germany there. So I don't know what the significance is there. I think during that year though, I want to say he won a Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, he won the golden. Yeah, he won the
2014. Okay. So yeah, I think they won a Champions League too. So that's like the domestic. I mean, that's like the European trophy for like club level.
Right. Yeah.
That's like Super Bowl for like club level. Like FC Barcelona. Like I don't know. It's a cool cover too, though. I mean,
he got given the trophy at the World Cup.
I see.
That was a thing.
Yeah, I just thought it was weird, like $1,600 for an 8.0.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not a.
It's not even signed.
I think anything. I think anything with Messi, like on it, like it kind of goes into that whole like Hulk 180, 181 shit. Like the 181 just has a better cover, so it's like I don't know. Yeah. That looks like a cool cover to me. It's like it's got him on it right there with the flag draped over him. Like that's dope.
Yeah,
collector piece,
Cool.
By the way, while we're talking, I just opened a blaster box of Bowman 2023. Okay, not a fucking autograph, of course. Best card I got was a Wilber Sanchez color. So my ass kicking continues when it comes to opening cards. I got a Drew Jones Bowman Chrome. That's about it. I got one more box I'm going to open as we keep bullshitting. So I just wasted $70 down the drain as usual. I tell myself not to buy anything because it's just going to be, it's like getting kicked in the dick over and over again by a fucking horse. And it's been that way for fucking 10 years. But I hadn't seen any Bowman yet and had to do it.
Yeah. Shit, I guess this is my segment. Man, I didn't really have too much to kind of bring to the table, like as far as like speculation and stuff. Like I kind of was talking to Trey like before the show. Like speculation in action figures is kind of has a stigma to it, you know what I'm saying? Because it kind of has like this kind of attached to like this connotation of like a scalper, you know what I mean? So like anything you kind of buy, it should just be for your own like personal collection, you know? But then there's always like these chase figures that like people for some reason like, I don't know if it's because of FOMO, I don't know if it's because of like rarity, I guess you could say. Like people always kind of want like something rare, you know. But McFarlane Toys is actually kind of producing this retro line of Batman 66 toys. This isn't Yvonne Craig, the actress that portrayed Batgirl, but this is kind of more centered around the comic book version of Batgirl. Like they had like a Batman 66 comic, I think. They've actually produced like a Two-Face. He never came out in the series, but there's an action figure of it from the comic book that's actually looks really good, man. Because like when you actually look at some of the sculpting on these figures, they're really good for the limited articulation that you get. But this line actually kind of started off with like a Batman and a Robin. And dude, I remember seeing these at Target, not thinking anything of it because I didn't really grow up with the series, you know. $15, I think they were priced at. Dude,
15.
Together they sell for $100. Like this listing right here is sold for $100, but like single carded, like a Robin, I think I was watching one auction kind of go down and kind of ended at $60. I don't think I could even find a Batman right now, like on eBay, like for anything less than $50. This is like a $15-$20 action figure, you know. Then you kind of go down to like the Chase version, Unmasked Robin, $249. This sold at, you know. These are figures that came out like 18 months ago, so it's not like long-term speculation. This is something that you could have bought like after the pandemic, after a lot of the hype kind of died down. There was people kind of, you know, going after these, man. So like as far as speculation, I don't know if this Batgirl is gonna fetch for anything crazy like that. But a lot of the things with the action figure community, it's like if it's not like highly articulated, it doesn't kind of really fit in your collection. Like a lot of people kind of don't go after it, you know. So it kind of gives you a little bit of a leg up on people that are like, I guess, buying for that reason, for spec value. I myself am not really collecting this line because like I don't have any attachment to Batman 66, but McFarlane Toys is actually also retroing out this line called Superpowers. It's like a old line that kind of died out in the 80s and 90s and stuff. And some of those figures, like the vintage figures, go for like over $1,000, man, you know. So kind of Toddy Mag kind of taking the approach to kind of retro some of these stuff out for the first time ever. A lot of people are hyped for it, man, because it kind of allows them to kind of continue that collection that never finished. And it also kind of brings in new people too. You know what I mean? A lot of the things with these card backs too, like they have like kind of cool card backs that kind of people just kind of put on their walls. Like Toddy Mag never really went the approach of Hasbro as far as like plastic free packaging. So it gives you that classic look of a card back when you can actually see the blister and the figure inside. Some people just kind of collect that for just to have on their walls, you know. Like I've actually kind of collected some of these Motu stuff. Like I've bought duplicates of like just the ones that I like this Trap Jaw, like the card back, unpunched. This thing is like $18 figure when I bought it. It goes for like $60, $70. Like I'm not really looking to sell these stuff off, but like it's just something about like a card back that like collectors just, I don't know, just kind of, it's like a nostalgia pill, you know what I mean? And that's something that I think a lot of toy companies today are banking on. That's something that they didn't have when these toys were coming out because there wasn't any nostalgia attached to it. It was just original properties, original toys, and that was it. Now toy companies are really banking on like, hey, people remember this show, people remember this character, people remember this toy, like let's retro it, let's, you know, maybe attach a Chase figure to it, and you know the market kind of dictates what it goes at, you know. So for me it's just kind of cool to kind of see this stuff. Like I couldn't tell you like how much of a joke it is to like people in the action figure community to say that a McFarlane toy is going for $250, but I mean here it is, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that's all I really brought to the show. I didn't really know like what else to kind of bring to it, but like it's crazy to see this because it's like I said, man, and 78 can like attest to this stuff, like right 78, like this isn't something you kind of see that's common, man. This is like a very bare bones action figure compared to the stuff that could be made nowadays. Like I was showing Trey like this SH Fig Wars trunks, like the amount of articulation that goes into this trunks, and you can see it right here, like compared to that Batgirl, like there's no way this trunks figure should be going less than that Unmasked Robin. As far as engineering and everything that kind of goes into it, like paint and sculpt and everything, But like this was $60, and that Unmasked Robin is $250. Like, why is that? Why do people do that? Like, I don't know, you know. And I guess that's where people can kind of like, I don't know, make money in the speculation game.
You know why?
The why on this, I think there's an interesting thing. I think it hits certain boxes. One that nobody else is doing. This property, this IP hasn't been, there hasn't been much product for a minute. The packaging is really nice. Like they did a really nice good on the presentation, and that hits that, mint in box on card collector. That is, most of them are of a certain age.
Yeah.
And this is something that hits hard. And Toddy Mac is doing, from the comic world, he does the variant, and that variant, it goes up like a variant book, and there's also weird things going on with distribution, exclusives, things like that. Not everybody buys them because the action figure market or community, Toddy Mac gets a bad rap because sometimes his paint apps aren't the best on the regular figures and his articulation isn't there. So he gets a bad reputation, or he's an easy target because he doesn't come after anybody. He doesn't give a fuck.
A lot of the stuff that, like I said, like I was kind of speaking on earlier, it's like a lot of the stuff like in the action figure community that a lot of people kind of like looking from the outside in don't really know is that like the scale of an action figure really dictates people's collection. So Todd having like his like, a chokehold on the DC license, like he owns the DC license for anything like 7-inch and below. So a lot of people that collect Marvel Legends, a really popular line, they're more used to like a more closer to 6-inch scale action figure, where Todd's are more closer to 7-inch. So if you have a Batman next to a Captain America and Batman is like a foot taller than him, it looks off and it pisses people off, So that kind of like adds like, it kind of throws a wet blanket over like a lot of the Todd McFarlane stuff, but like it doesn't stop people from collecting it. Like I have like, we kind of know this guy he has like a YouTube channel named Pock Photos. Collects the line, man. He gives you all the positive like points of it, and like Todd is only making stuff for his line. He's not making it for like, for it to go with your Marvel Legends from Hasbro. It's like he stays in his own lane, he does his own stuff, and like he takes care of that. And then at the same time too, like it comes out relatively fast compared to other stuff. We were just talking about the Quantum Mania movie. Some of those figures haven't even hit retail yet for certain states. You know what I mean? I was just talking to my one of our friends, Johnny Number Cinco, hasn't even seen those in store yet. The action figures that are a part of that movie. Like it's already out on Disney Plus. Like, you know what I'm saying? So how late is that? Todd, like he has his like logistics like down to like a science, bro, where it's like the minute he reveals it, it's already like produced. It's not like a few months away from being produced. It's like it's on its way to the stores, So a lot of
Flash figures are in stores right now, right?
Exactly. That's right.
Exactly,
you got Batman 89. You got all, he did it for the Batman movie. That was a big one. Like, whoa. Patterson, whatever you want to call it. He was on the shelves. He was on the pegs. When the movie dropped.
He floods the market with his stuff, and then like you have no choice but to buy it. Sometimes people they have this thing in the action figure community called hunting. I'm gonna go hunting. I'm gonna go to Target and try to find something worth buying. A lot of the times you go to the Marvel Legends section, like in the aisles, there's nothing there. There might be some peg warmers or stuff that's not moving, and a lot of the Todd stuff just kind of comes in waves. Like you'll see the new stuff, you'll see the newer stuff, and then just you didn't want to waste a trip to Target. You don't want to waste a trip, so you might just buy it. And it kind of, I don't know, it adds collectability to it, man. And not just for this line, like he actually has his DC Multiverse line. He does these like weird, quirky chase variants. And one of the DC Multiverse, Mr. Freeze, was like painted in like this retro colorway that resembled the Superpowers line. Dude, that thing was on his site for $20. You could have bought as many as you wanted. It was going for like $150. And when he kind of like did like open another pre-order, it kind of lowered it a little bit to like $80. But it's just like, it's crazy how he's able to do this. And I don't really see that with a lot of other lines. Like it's like, as far as Marvel Legends, I think Marvel Legends, they do flip for a lot, but it's more older releases. But then even then, they have this bad thing about them. I don't want to call it bad because it kind of allows new collectors to kind of come in. They reissue like older figures. maybe like multi-packs and stuff like that. So it obviously brings the market value down to those original releases. But they want to get some of that money back too. They pay attention to the aftermarket on some of the releases, so they kind of want like a chunk of that money back. You know what I mean? Where I don't really see Todd do that. Like whenever one of his things go like crazy, like these original McFarlane Classics TV Batman and Robin, he's done reissues on them, but they're like variants. They have like a gas mask, or he has like a black and white version. He won't re-release this original Batman and Robin anymore. He won't re-release this unmasked Robin anymore. So that market value is gonna stay pretty much the same relatively. You know what I mean? But it just trips me out to watch it myself. Like I'm in the action figure community, and when I see stuff like this, I'm just like, wow. Like it boggles my mind that anybody would pay $250 for this stuff. You know what I mean?
You know why?
How long did it take for the? Sorry, real quick. How long did it take for this to reach this price point?
Man, this sold April 15, 2023. So maybe about a year and a half. Like, yeah, I would want to say. I think these came out like I want to say like towards the end of 2021. Okay. So it's been a little bit over a year.
She's leaning on that Batmobile goes for money as well.
And like I said, these are figures that you could have found at Target, man. No problem. I actually feel like I saw this unmasked Robin one time at Target, and I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, I didn't want to I didn't want to spend the $15 or the $20 or whatever, just because it's not something that I wanted for my collection. But then kind of seeing the prices on them, I'm like, damn, And going back to that, it's like I said, man, like the stigma kind of put onto collectors as far as like, flipping a figure, it's really bad in the action figure community that I don't really see in other communities, man. I think the shoe game got a little bit of that. Like, you would kind of attribute like a reseller, you would kind of call them a flipper, like in a bad connotation. But in the action figure community, it's pretty bad, man. But I honestly don't really see the problem. Like if I was to buy this Robin unmasked and sell it for $250 and then buy something that I really want, what's wrong with that?
I mean, if the guy held it for a year, if he held it for a year and he sold it for $200, I mean, I can't hate on that. I mean, he held it and he got rid of it. He made money.
Exactly.
Dude, I was such a hoe during the pandemic. I was a hoe during the pandemic.
Yeah. See, Trey, you would have been like one of those people that like would have really gotten like there would have been like a witch hunt on people with that as far as that goes. Like you didn't want to give up your eBay handle. You didn't want to like tell people that you're selling stuff. Like it got really crazy, man, because there was a lot of stuff that was kind of shitty that didn't really have anything to do with like the actual toys. It was just kind of like as far as distribution and like some of the stuff, a lot of the stuff kind of revolved around Hasbro and like their like store exclusives. Yeah. So they would make like G.I. Joe store exclusives, and it's like hard to find shit,
I was getting like, here's what I was doing. I wasn't scared of COVID. I was, like I said, in Oklahoma, all the Walmarts and Targets were fucking empty. So I was the only thing I flipped really, I still got a shit ton. I got all my figures that I bought outside of the Gujitsu chases. I don't know if you know those Gujitsus. Kind of like a kid's toy. They're like a gooey toy. They had a rare chase that came in every case that was really, 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 really popular and sold well. I talked about last week the Bad Batch, that figure of the Star Wars Black Series that came out.
Yeah.
But you could go to Walmart and buy out what they had and turn around and sell a couple of those figures for $80 to $120.
Yeah.
Even the Barbies, those Barbies, those Dia de los Muertos Barbies, those went for crazy money.
Yeah, and that's what I mean about it. As far as like the action figure speculation game, it's not really like where people kind of plan the stuff out. It just kind of happens. Like the market just kind of like allows it. You know what I mean? So it's like when people have like, when you see like, especially it happened a lot during the pandemic, when you saw like a company like Hasbro was making deals with Target to kind of release these like exclusive figures, people kind of knew about it. So they were like, dude, there was like massive amounts of people going to Target and waiting in line and hunting them down. And it was like, dude, like you want two of them because like some of the stuff with G.I. Joe is they're army builders. Like if you have a Viper, you need 2 or 3 or 4 of them. You're not just gonna buy one because it doesn't make sense to buy one.
It's like stormtroopers, huh?
So even exactly. That would like add to like the scarcity of these figures. So a lot of people kind of started attributing to people like, you know, people that were buying multiples were being called scalpers. Like, oh, you're a scalper. Why do you need 3 or why do you need 4? Because that's what I want for my collection. You know,
because my fucking wallet can afford for it. Bitch, don't worry about what I'm buying.
So, exactly, dude.
Did you remember Target having the virtual cons?
Yeah.
And then they would do store releases.
Yeah.
Oh my
and they
God.
still have that. They still have like those holothons, like, you know, where they open a pre-order up at a certain time. And like that's the stuff that we kind of like try to provide, like at least on our show and in the Discord and stuff, is like just when these drops happen and you can make up your mind if you want. Like it's like my whole thing is like I don't really buy for spec. I buy for like just the stuff that I want to buy. Like the stuff that I think is cool, I'll buy it. And like if it happens to go for a lot later on and I choose to sell, that's my choice. I bought it, I held it, and like there shouldn't be any kind of bad connotations added to, you know, or stuck to me, like as far as that goes, you know what I mean? But like it happens a lot in the action figure community, and it's just like I can understand it too, because it's like, yo, obviously you kind of want to spread the wealth, you kind of want to allow other people to buy stuff, but like, man, like I said, some of these Motu figures, dude, I was buying up lots on like Mercari and eBay, bro, when this line kind of started to kind of lose a little bit of steam. Like this came out in 2020, like around 2021, 2022, dude, people were selling lots of these for like damn near retail price. It was like, you know, a lot of 4 or 5 for $60. That's like $15 a price, you know, $15 a figure. This one figure is going for like $60, you know what I mean? Carded up, like Scareglow, carded up, $60 figures that I'm like, I have like multiples of these that I'm like, why do I need multiples? Because I wanted to buy them. I don't know. Like, if I want to sell them, I can sell them. If I don't, I don't.
Wasn't there like a WWE / Masters of the Universe kind of collab or something that came out?
Yeah.
I remember I had a bunch of those, and they went for not a ton of money, but they flipped pretty quick.
You could flip them, yeah, exactly. And like that's the thing, dude. And like that's why, like, for people that kind of actually kind of like live close to Walmarts and Targets and stuff, obviously they get an advantage over other people. That's not their fault. Like that's not their fault that I choose not to wake up and go to Walmart and look. That's not their fault. You know what I'm saying? If they have the access to it, and like I said, the stuff that you have is only worth, you know, what somebody's willing to pay you for it. I can have the real Mona Lisa. If you guys don't have any interest in the Mona Lisa, and it's not worth a damn, then like I couldn't sell it to you guys for $20 if you guys don't want it. So it's like that's the thing about the action figure, like speculation, I guess you could call it. Is like buy what you think is cool, but like if it happens to go for a lot, and that's just because you were up on game. That's just because you kind of knew something was cool before everybody else. You know what I mean? And like if you want to sell it, sell it. If not, don't. Fuck it. But that's all I have for the show, man. I mean,
I bought 75 Razor Crest because of you, Omar. So
nah, it was
I can't even look at your links anymore, man. It's too tempting.
It's like
it's good stuff though, man. It's real good stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and the stuff that I plug in there, it's kind of more. I don't want to say it's like niche or anything like that, but it's kind of like I said, it's like the action figure community. It's like its own separate thing from like the toy community in general, you know, because the toy community incorporates like Lego collectors, statue collectors, you know, Funko Pop collectors, different kinds of collectors, you know. And like I said, a lot of the times in the action figure community, a lot of the stuff that dictates what people buy is like the scale of things, you know. So like those Razor Crest and like the Nobu Starfighter, that's a 1/18 scale. Like I can't fit this, you know, Trunks in there if I wanted to. He's just not gonna fit in there. You know what I'm saying? So some people, they don't care about that stuff. They'll collect anything that has a dope IP attached to it. Or some people just, they really dictate scale. Like Hot Toys collectors, they collect 1/6 scale. They're not gonna buy something that's 1/12. They're not gonna buy something that's 1/18 because it just doesn't fit. Like there's some kind of like OTS going on in people's brains when they collect stuff. It's like, you know what I mean? It's just not gonna look right in your collection, your own personal collection. So people have their own reasons to buy stuff and not buy stuff. But yeah. But yo, what happened to Trey, man?
Yeah, I think he went to go take a piss.
Oh shit.
Yeah, the other thing is like the action figure, like the spec or the reseller game in the toy community or the action figure community. It's kind of not new, I would say, but it's not as mature as the other collectible markets.
Yeah.
So you know you can see all the emotional shit and all that shit. It's the same thing that happened in sneakers and comics, and It's like, okay, you saw that so many years ago in the other collectibles, is now happening here.
There's a resistance to that, right?
There is,
there's different kinds of collectors, man, too. So it's like, look at like
the reseller stores now get collabs with Nike.
Like vintage collectors do. Like I said, they don't mind tossing around $1,000 for like a 5 POA almost figure. You know, like there's a cyborg from the Superpowers line going for like $1,000. That's something that like even in the community that I'm in, like the group that I'm in, like the types of people that I talk, they would never dream about spending that type of money on something like that, because like one, it doesn't fit in their collection, they're not into it, and two, that's a lot of money to just throw at one thing, man. So there's different kinds of, like, obviously there's whales in each market, and it's the same thing for the action figure community, man. And there's like just whales that are like after these grail pieces, and like it's a grail for them, you know. For me, like I said, I wouldn't spend $800 on a cyborg, so it's like it's not worth it to me, you know. But to somebody, it's worth. It's a grail piece to them, man. So
cool.
Look at Trey.
Well, thanks, Omar. That was when you said you didn't have a lot to bring. I think you brought everything.
Yeah,
and it was very informative.
Dropped all this knowledge.
I think I dropped your guys' link about 8 times because I enjoy it. I'm not a collector, but I like listening to you guys talk about it and just kind of inform. I watch you guys. I think I've been watching you guys like 3-4 weeks straight every Saturday, just kind of chilling, man.
Yeah, I've been seeing you in the chat, man.
Yeah,
no,
you guys are all cool,
you guys come on.
Saturdays 8:35 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's just like me, 78, Johnny number 5, Will Flow 81 in the chat, Action Figure Boncho. We kind of just have like like I was saying at the beginning of the show, just like a weekly podcast on just like the action figure news that's coming out. And like you would think that's not a lot of news, but it really is, man. And it's enough to kind of at least have content every week, you know. So it's cool, and I appreciate you guys for plugging us so well, man. And you know, I'm gonna keep plugging as much as I can in your guys' Discord. And thank you guys for having me on, man. I really appreciate it.
Dude, you're like I said, it's fun. It's fun when we bring people on. It was like 78. We brought him on, and he fit like a fucking old pair of underwear. And like I said, you like that? So no, you're more than welcome to hop on with us anytime. If you got anything exciting, there's anything that you want to talk about, you're more than welcome to hop on with us anytime. We've had a lot of fun tonight.
Cool, appreciate it, Trey. Thank you, man.
Ferd's mad at me, so he's not talking.
I have nothing to say. I have nothing to say. I want to introduce 78 in a special way today. So 3, 2, 1. And there he is. All right, Mr.
Go, Lou.
This is breaking news. Hot Toys showed their 1/6/2099. We're talking about the movie. It's coming out next week, and Bandai SHF Figure Arts dropped this. Oh, look at the details on that suit. That's pretty dope. You know,
dude, he's got my eyebrows.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's the animation, right? Yeah. He looks dope, man. He looks really
I like it.
He looks really good. Oh, man. Yeah. The plastic cape's a bit annoying. You know, a lot of us prefer cloth goods because it kind of gets in the way when you want to do posing and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, the figure looks really good. Looks really good. Bandai has been killing it the last year, 10 months. It is unstoppable. And the prices, being in the States, you always have to pay that international shipping. But to be frank, these aren't much more expensive than a Hasbro toy. And what you get, it's incomparable, man. Incomparable.
Yeah. You look at that, you can just see the details in like the shoulders and the chest, and even the hands have.
Yeah, the engineering, the detail, and then the quality of the plastic when you get it. Yeah, it's, it feels premium. It feels premium. And, okay, in the States, if you go through the US distributors and all that, this will be probably pushing $80 to $100. But if you can get it through the Japanese sites, and maybe you have a few figures and you do a package, like a pile of loot kind of deal, you might be able to get it for 60, 70. So it's a nice figure. Yeah.
That's badass.
That was the breaking news. I was like, oh shit. Too nice.
I wonder if Omar's grabbing one of these too.
Omar, I think Omar will grab one of these. I think he'll.
Are these limited
these,
or are numbered or?
No, they're not limited, man. So they did recently. Bandai did a little like tour around the states, and they had like their pop-up exhibitions and like a con circuit kind of thing, but their own thing. They had one in New York recently, and they brought out the Miles and the Gwen for that, and they did a special edition. It's kind of whack in the terms of what you get. You just get a stand with this like a print on the stand instead of the regular clear stand. So it's not really, you don't get an extra accessory or anything. So it doesn't really do much in terms of reselling and rarity. People don't really care. If they gave you some accessories, something that was special, then maybe. So yeah. But this,
I can't believe they're still making him the bad guy of this movie, allegedly.
Allegedly. It was cool.
That is badass. See, that's what I mean. Like, I could see myself getting into figures to the point where I had fucking cases, and then my fiance leaves me, and I turn into a statue guy.
Man, honestly, like what gets you into it, like, is if you get one, man, you have like a desk around you or something, and you just have them on your desk, and so you fuck with them, man. And like I said, dude, like if there's an IP out there, dude, like there's companies trying to get those licenses to make figures of this shit. Like this is a Jazzwares Charizard. Like it's just cool, bro. Like you just have a fucking Charizard like on your desk, you know. It's just like it's just fun, you know, and it kind of takes you back to a simpler time, like when you were just a kid and like you could just have a toy with you, you know what I mean? And it's like that's why like I see kids, they're not into that stuff. Like they're more into like a digital world. And like that's one of the things that I kind of started watching your guys' show was like the talk about NFTs and like just people not being able to wrap their head around it. I can wrap my head around just like seeing what's possible and kind of seeing why people would be into them, you know, because it's something that you can share instantly. Like if you're in that world, you know what I mean? Where like right here, I can have as many action figures as I want. If I didn't have social media to share the pictures of them or to share my collection or like a video where I can show stuff off, how would people know what I have? You know what I'm saying? How would people even know what I own or what I'm into unless you kind of share it, you know? And I feel like with NFTs, and that's why I'm kind of hesitant to get into them because I'm kind of waiting for like VR to kind of catch up. And I feel like once VR kind of catches up, like people are going to be able to share like the stuff, the NFTs, the non-fungible tokens or whatever it might be, artwork or a figure or a statue or something. And you'll be able to share it instantly, you know what I mean? In the, you know, metaverse or whatever they choose to call it. Like I can see that happening, you know what I mean? Where like, let's just say this was an NFT and like, I bought a movie ticket and the movie ticket granted me access to every figure released. Like that'd be dope. You know what I'm saying? Like that'd be cool. So
Speaking of action figures, I want to show you guys this. I don't know if you guys have saw this or not, but this is one of the things that made my whole week. It's action figure related and it's nostalgia related. So I'm gonna try to share my screen. I suck at this. Ferd's gonna get in trouble.
Stop that, yeah.
No, you're good. Let's see if we can get it to go. But if you guys, can y'all see this?
Oh yeah. I saw this.
This is dope.
Have you seen it, Ferd?
Yep.
Let's let it play for a minute in case people haven't.
We came over to Grand House. We don't have cable TV. We are silent, unlike the crowd. As our heroes brought to his knees. Why did we ever think he could win? Looks like there will be a new champion.
Trey really got into this shit.
But then Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant. A moment in slow motion as time was flying. They said it was impossible. 520 pounds. I think we just saw a miracle.
Oh shit.
Like the ones that mother talks about.
He got up.
Drops the leg, we jump to our feet. 90,000 people
right,
count to 3.
Are you over this, Ferd?
Awesome. I'm looking at all the freaking guys in the background and shit.
No, but what's funny, I don't know if you saw at the end, he ends up beating up Skeletor. He ends up beating up Darth. He ends up beating up Darth Vader. Like he ends up beating up a lot of toys from our childhood.
And that's dope. See, that's what I mean. Like that's the thing about toys right now. It's like, and that's why I feel like a lot of like companies are like leaning towards that whole multiverse like thing. Like even Motu, they have like their whole Motuverse like thing going on. Like DC, you know, obviously Marvel's doing it. Like it's just something that kind of works. It's like a formula that works for a lot of people, man. And I feel like with toys, it's like you can do that. You can have a Spider-Man action figure next to a Batman. You can have like a, you know, a Hulk Hogan wrestling a fucking Skeletor or something like that. It's just, it allows for like just endless amounts of fun. Like you can just have like your whole universe of stuff that you're into, that you like, that you think is cool, and then like you can just have a figure form of it and just do whatever the hell you want. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, nah, that stuff's dope, man. And like even that guy's collection, like as limited as those are like figures look, having all of those in a collection, that's priceless, bro. It's dope. It's a cool thing to collect. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure that guy didn't collect them to, you know, flip them. I mean, he could potentially, but just owning that collection, that's something that I would, you know, I would want, you know what I'm saying? So it's desirable. So it's the price of stuff like that. It's priceless, man. So that's dope.
Dude, but one of the worst days of my life was I remember I was a freshman in high school and my parents had a fucking garage sale. And I literally, when I tell you guys, I had every He-Man, every castle, every vehicle. I had even the She-Ra shits, the Hordak. I had, if it was related to He-Man, I legitimately had it. And some fucking asshole came in after I went to school and my mom didn't realize what it was. And he bought my whole fucking He-Man collection for like $50.
Oh,
I'll never, it's still to this day, I get it's one of those funny things. I literally give my mom shit about it 5 times a year. Like, hey, you remember when you sold my He-Man for $50? But no, I mean, that's what we did when we were kids. You had that fucking wrestling ring, and you had Macho Man fight fucking Darth Vader and shit like that. Yep. So that's what I like about action figures, and I could totally see myself getting way back into them. You guys are gonna cost me a lot of money.
Yeah.
Did you end up getting any of these, Ralph? On the 2023?
I got 6 boxes.
Damn!
Damn.
You get 6.
I got a couple
different accounts.
Look at this motherfucker. Ralph's still playing the game. I'm proud of him. I got out of it.
No, I mean, I obviously it's not going to do as good as the first release. That was was it a year ago, 2 years ago? But it's Return of the Jedi, and it's a reprint of the original series, and it has the autographs. So I think the Mark Hamill autograph, I think Toss mentioned that this is the first time since 2017 that he's autographed anything. So I think that in itself is going to be a huge boost for this product price wise, and everybody's going to be chasing that 101 super refractor. So
doesn't it have Carrie Fisher autographs in it too? Carrie
Fisher, Harrison Ford.
And you're not gonna open them. You're just gonna keep them like.
I think I'm gonna. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna.
I would.
He's gonna open a box He's gonna open a box live on air with us.
Man.
Yeah, it's the next giveaway.
I might rip one, but I mean it's.
Especially if that 1-on-1 never surfaces, it's like the price of those like sealed boxes is way high.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah. So, but I mean, I thought it was a pretty easy release as far as buying it. But apparently people had trouble, so sold out pretty quick.
I bought one because of the Montgomery glove thing, and I saw that they were immediately going for $375 on eBay. So what are they? I haven't looked today. Have you looked, Ralph?
I saw it right after the release, and they're around 300, 320. But that's the initial flipper trying to make their 2X. So I mean.
Topps is fucking hoarding themselves out. The fact they will let Montgomery Club get one box. And then that Bowman 2022 bullshit stunt they pull with the Dutch auction last week, everything else.
This is kind of interesting. Rasper says go for 88 films era release. Is that UHD or other Hong Kong companies? Cool. That's good stuff. I just stumbled upon a couple horror movie classics from like 2000s or whatever, but I saw Saw 1 sealed go for like $100. I don't know if it's just like nostalgia or someone trying to hold for long term or whatever, but it seems like horror movies do pretty well, especially if it's kind of a smaller type of deal. But I thought that was kind of interesting to kind of look out for if you see like a sealed Saw or paranormal Activity. Yeah, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, I think the horror, anything having to do with horror genre, if it's VHS or are these steelbooks or DVDs?
These were DVDs. The Saw one, I'm not sure. It's kind of a special packaging, but yeah, these are DVDs though.
Yeah, I mean, the horror stuff does well.
Yeah. That's kind
are
of
we talking pornos or are you saying horror or horror?
Horror.
Oh,
horror.
The ones in front of you.
Movie, yeah,
the movies in front of you. Told you I need hydrated. Anyway, yeah, just something to be look out for. I didn't have that much movie spec this week, but horror movies.
I mean, horror is one of those genres.
Not horror movies.
Has a rabid fan base.
Hey, I guarantee you, Debbie Does Dallas. I saw a Debbie Does Dallas VHS, a graded one, do really well a couple weeks ago. So some of them horror movies aren't doing too.
For sure.
Was it sealed or not sealed?
I believe it was sealed.
That's so funny.
Sealed or used.
That's like iconic though, right? Like that's like an iconic like shit. Even the name, like it has like
yeah, that's kind of yeah.
Hey, yo. How's that Lake show, Omar?
God damn it. Oh man.
LeBum got swept again.
God damn it, bro. That was terrible.
They're gonna lose Austin Reeves. They're gonna.
No, they're not. Hell no, they're not, bro. Fuck that shit.
Dude, he can make $30 million with another team though, based on the way that
they can match them. Hopefully they do, and they don't go after like Kyrie and shit. But we'll see.
Rumor is Chris Paul. What I heard today.
Fuck. What the fuck? Hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no.
To be honest with you, I was a big fan of Dennis Schroeder. I was a big fan of Dennis Schroeder when he was at Oklahoma City. I think if y'all let him fucking cook a little bit more, to be completely honest.
I mean, they offered him a huge ass contract and he turned it down. Now he's like on a yearly contract, like every year, just a fucking minimum and shit. But I don't know. I think this year I don't think they're gonna give him that minimum. I don't think he's gonna take it. Honestly, I think he's gonna get a lot more offers this time around. But I don't know. Hopefully they don't let Austin Reeves go. But I heard they're trying to make a push for Kyrie, but I don't know how that will fit in their salary cap. And I don't even know if that'll work either, man. Like that whole super team 3 stars thing is like you need depth, man. Like look at the Heat, look at the Nuggets. Like they're deep, bro. So it's like
this is a perfect segue into the Nuggets because I've been thinking about this, and Ralph and I and Ferd have been talking about this. Have you guys looked at the value of Giannis versus Jokic cards?
Yeah, Giannis
has a championship. That would need to be said. But the discrepancy in the value, if you look at the numbers over the last 5 years between Giannis and Jokic has him in rebounds. Jokic has him in assists, free throw percentage, everything else. The only thing that Giannis has him on is in points per game in a championship. I think that Jokic might be the most undervalued sports card in sports cards at the moment. You can still get a PSA 10 silver for $3,500 to $4,000. This guy's been a multiple time MVP. Excuse me. Has he won twice or just one time?
Twice.
I think
twice. 2 years in a row.
Twice.
If he got it this year, it would have been 3.
Yeah, which he should have got it this year because he had better numbers than Embiid, but that's a whole nother story. So he's a 2-time MVP winner. He might be the best center of our generation, to be honest with you. He's doing things that's never been done from that position. I mean, he's averaging a fucking triple-double as a center. I don't know if you – I mean, I know Omar saw a couple of those shots he was hitting.
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck this guy. That was like the first time I've seen him like really like – I was like, damn, dude, this dude could – especially that first game. I was like, man, because like, yeah, his passing, bro, like he's got long range, but it's mostly his passing that kind of allows for that. But like, yeah, you don't see these types of players like that often, man. So it's like, I think the thing about him though is like they were talking about that, like him and Giannis and stuff like that. They're like in this like weird time zone. Like Trey, you're in that central time zone, bro. There's not a lot of primetime games like on the West Coast or the East Coast for that time zone, man. So a lot of people don't get to see these stars, you know what I'm saying, quote unquote, and they don't really get to see them at all, you know, unless they make a deep playoff run, you know. And like now, I think people are really getting to see what he can do, you know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, I think now more than ever would be the time to like really lock one in before it gets too crazy, man. Before he wins that championship, especially, I think he might win it this year.
Yeah, I mean, right after the game, you know, I kind of made that comparison. I was telling you guys, so this is just the silver, Giannis and Jokic. Giannis was roughly around 13,000 for a PSA 10, and Jokic was under 3,000. This was last week after they won the series. So the difference is
$10,000 difference.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess it's kind of a big deal is the pop count. So Jokic has about 140 of these PSA 10s and Giannis has about 80. But that price comparison is still, you know, it's a huge difference. And if you could have got it for under 3,000, I'm sure it's gone up a little bit, but who knows if he ends up winning a championship, what that goes up to, or does it even touch what Giannis is at now?
One just sold about while we were on the podcast. A 10 sold for $34.50.
Wow. So yeah, they're definitely moving up.
God damn.
And here another one too that we need to bring in the topic. His cards I don't think are going to reach the where Giannis and Jokic has the potential to. But if Jimmy Butler wins a ring this year, do we have to put him? Do we got to put him in that pantheon? In the Kevin Durant, LeBron, Jokic, Giannis category?
You have a strong case.
Jimmy Buckets, man. I feel like he's like a people's player, man. Yeah, bro. Like people just like him just because of his personality and his attitude, man. Like and especially his playoff performances are like, dude, you compare the numbers and it's like two different players. Like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know. It's something about him too that he's just so likable, bro.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing I think about like Jokic, just like you don't really see too much of him. He's not really marketable like that. Like I don't even know what shoe he signed to or anything like that. I know Giannis is signed to Nike. He's like a kind of Nike dude.
He's got the freak, the Zoom Air freak, yeah.
But like Jimmy Buckets, bro, like man, even when he was in Chicago, he was cool. And like a lot of people know him from like memes and gifs, like funny gifs and shit. Like he's funny, bro. He's like a character, you know. So it's like I don't know if you could kind of put him in that pantheon, but like he definitely has like a lot of respect around the league and like around the fans in general, man. Like he's that type of player. Like he gets his dues. But I wouldn't mind having a card to him. He's just cool.
Something on the head.
I think he's more long term too, because I think when it's all said and done, it's like, yeah, Jimmy Buckets, if he wins a ring, it's like he did it the right way. He plays it the right way too. He's not like some diva superstar like Kyrie or something like that. Like he's likable, bro. Did you see his ankle?
Did you see his ankle swell? That last series he was in before this one, he had that ankle injury where he was out game 2, where it showed him walking to his vehicle at like the end of game 5 or 4, and his ankle was a fucking balloon, and he never complained about it. Still played 35 minutes.
Never would have even known. Yeah, see, I didn't even know. I had no idea. I would never have even known that was a thing.
And there's so many people that would have taken the fucking easy way out and missed games, and he realized how important he is to Miami women. I mean, they're playing. They were playing good. Celtics, golly. Do you think that this goes 7 now? Do you think that the Celtics got momentum back and figured some shit out and gonna win Game 6 in Miami?
What was that score? Damn.
They won by 23 or 24 tonight.
Cooked them.
I believe.
I don't know.
It was straight out the gate.
13.
That's how they.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see the Heat winning it tonight. I think they kind of held back a little bit. But yeah, the next game, bro, if they don't win that, I don't see the momentum like being in their favor at Game 7. Like that's gonna be pressure fucking times 100, man, to win that.
Game 7 to be back on Boston Garden, right?
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to lose Game 7 because that'll just be like embarrassing completely, man. Wow. So it's like. Never happened before, so you don't want to be that first team, man. Like this is Game 7 for them going back to Miami. Like that is Game 7 for them. I think they'll be prepared for it. I honestly think they kind of held back tonight. I didn't see them winning tonight anyway.
Well, and then one few things is Ralph and I made the decision. We went in halves. No, I haven't paid him yet, so he technically could just tell me fuck off, and I get it.
Nah, you're good.
But we bought a case of the Bowman Chrome University with the Wembanyama and the Caitlin Clarks. Did we make a good decision? Did we make a bad decision? And here's the question: do we open it or do we hold it? What do you think?
Hold it.
Hold it.
For me, man, I wouldn't open anything, bro. Like I always
Well, you
I
see,
do.
y'all see
I
my
saw
luck
your
tonight.
luck tonight. You saw your
I
luck.
spent $70 and get an autograph from both of my blasters. So if anybody's gonna open it, it's gonna be Ralph.
Yeah, the way shit is now, it's like, man, bro, I would honestly not open it. But I'm not into like sports cards or anything like that. Like I look at the card game, like it's a whole nother world, bro. Like it's crazy, you know. Like my younger brother, he's into like trading card games and stuff. He's into the One Piece and like, you know, Yu-Gi-Oh cards and shit. And he tells me, man, like, yo, those tournaments get wild, but those are like people opening their stuff. But like, yeah, he sees like the market value go up for like just sealed, you know, packs and shit.
Yeah,
it's just like, yo, man, that's a huge market because like once you open them, that's it. Like there's less and less every year. You know what I mean? So like the value, it at least retains its value for a long time, man. So I don't know.
It's my thought process is, and I think I'm kind of speaking for Ralph, but I think our thought process is the draft hasn't even happened yet. We're months away from the draft. And then there's going to be the start of the season. So the first time you see hoops now is around Thanksgiving time, which used to be the time prison came out. So we have a long ass time, potentially 5 to 6 months before any officially licensed products come out. If Wembanyama gets drafted first, which we all think is going to happen, and he starts the season hot, these are going to still be one of the only games in town to get a licensed autographed Wembanyama. And during the pandemic, if you guys remember or not, a product that usually was shit was that NBA Draft Prism, the one that had the, you know, with the college uniforms, where the Zion was going absolutely crazy. Now I think Wembanyama mania is 4 or 5 times of what Zion was. So I think that there's a chance that if we play this hand right, that we could do a decent flip on some of these boxes. If Wembanyama ends up going number 1 and starts out the season somewhat hot. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, well,
too, man, honestly.
we got in under 2,000 on the case, and if you go check DNA, they're I think they're at 2,700 already, and it's only been I think a week. I got it last week, so
that's ridiculous, dude. That's crazy, man. That's crazy money.
Birdman, I mean.
I'd steal him, dude. I wouldn't touch him.
I would not exactly.
Height Conan's hold the line.
The one thing I was gonna ask, so Caitlin Clark's in this, Wembanyama is as well. What other college basketball players are in this set? Like, is it all
Scoot
female
Henderson,
or male?
Brandon. I ain't fucking with. Other than Caitlin Clark, to be honest with you, I'm not. This isn't.
No, what I mean is there's like female college basketball players, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I ain't worried about that.
Yeah, no. So what I'm saying is,
you never know about the guys that go under the radar too, right? Like that actually don't really have any kind of scouting on them.
So like the point I'm trying to make is, so usually like it's all dudes, right? In like a regular basketball pack or set. If you have 100 additional females, the chances of you getting a Wembanyama is like way less, right? That's why I say seal it and don't open it.
Dude, it's like you when you open your McDonald's box. Seemed like you got more chicks than you did dudes in your McDonald's All-American box. You opened it. Oh no, I'm not talking shit. But
that was exactly my thought process when you guys were asking me about it. I was like, I don't want to touch it because, yeah, the chances of me getting a good guy is like it's 0, or it's not 0, but it's just like there's more females in it, and you know, so that's why I say seal it. But
fair enough. I think. Well, the good thing is Ralph's smarter than I am, and he has control over it. So hopefully he'll make the right decision for us.
Yeah.
All right, now this was a fucking controversial weekend with Ralph and I. We had our first kiss, and it was over the Devin Haney versus Vesely Lomachenko fight that happened last Saturday. And I personally think that Loma got fucking robbed. But to be completely honest, Ralph had the fight scored correctly, but all 3 of the judges had it scored when the fight was over. We were texting about the fight and this and that. And Ralph had the fight scored exactly as the judges did and gave some good points. I rewatched the fight, and I still don't know how Loma lost, but I guess the early rounds and some of the body shots added accumulated or whatever. But for that judge to give the 10th round to fucking Haney, is one of the.
Yeah.
Did y'all watch the fight? Did anybody else watch the fight?
I didn't watch the fight. I didn't know too much about that Haney guy, man. I know Lomachenko, the Matrix and shit, but I didn't know he lost. God damn, that sucks, man. He was hyped,
Haney,
bro. He's a little bit too older, huh?
Yeah,
he's
he's older.
Yeah, that's
the thing about
Haney
man. Haney was rated below Shakur Stevenson and a couple of the other guys, but he was the one that George Kambosos, the guy that beat Teofimo Lopez, the guy that beat Lomachenko during the pandemic on ESPN, he had the titles. He had all the unified titles.
Yep.
Haney was the one that went to Australia, where Kambosos was from, and beat the shit out of Kambosos twice. So this was a pretty big step up in competition for Haney. And, man, I wish everyone could watch the fight because it was one of the best technical fights I have ever seen. And this goes back to Sugar Ray, Duran, Hearns, Mayweather, Zab, Judah, Pernell Whitaker, all Roy Jones, all the greats that were alive. Judah. Dude, Zab at one point in time was a fucking man.
He was the shit, right?
He shook Mayweather.
Who you guys got in who you guys got in that Errol Spence Terrence Crawford fight?
I got Bud.
I got Spence.
I think
Buddy Crawford.
Okay, we'll have to bet on the Bud.
Spence.
No,
yeah,
so
I think I'll go for Errol Spence.
The thing about Haney is he's a good point boxer. He knows how to rack up points, and that's what he did. Even though Loma was hitting he was punching him with the more significant shots and kicking his head back when he would land. Haney was just racking up points to the body. And the thing is like some of those rounds were so tight, and I think in a undisputed unified belt situation, you kind of have to beat the champion clearly. It can't be always. It can't be kind of like I don't know kind of thing, and we're just gonna give the fight to Lomachenko. But like Trey said, it was a good technical fight. I didn't think Haney's game plan was the best. I don't know why he continually went to the body, because as he kept going to the body, that's when Loma would tag him. So, but overall, definitely good fight.
Check it out.
I'm a UFC guy, but I enjoy boxing when it's on that level. The only problem is the scoring. Is I think that's the thing that's plagued boxing over the last 10 years, or some horseshit decisions and some of the judging. And I rewatched the fight, and I definitely think Haney won a majority of the early rounds with body shots. There wasn't a lot of significant punches until the 9th, 10th, and 11th round, in my opinion. Yeah. And Haney arguably won the 12th round, which was a close. It was a close round.
He won that round.
But he was a little bit more aggressive than Lomachenko was. So I could see. I don't know. It was like I said, if you haven't got to watch the fight, you need to watch the fight, because it's honestly with Lomachenko being a left-hander and Haney being a right-hander with probably one of the best jabs in boxing. It's incredible to watch their footwork and how they moved and positioned themselves to try to score in their power shots. So. But don't fuck around with Ralph. Ralph knows his boxing. Don't bet him. I promise you.
We didn't even bet that fight, right?
No, I'm glad we didn't, because I would have if I'd had to cash out for you like $200 after that fight, I'd still be fucking mad.
Yeah, no, Loma like fucking 3 years ago, right? He was like unbeatable.
He was the dude.
He was man.
Yeah, he was really good. I mean, he's still good. It was a good fight.
Yeah, I saw that fight where he lost his belts, man. That was lame. I was like, damn, bro.
To Lopez, to Teofimo, yeah. And that was a close fight too. It was one of those ones where no one's ever whooped Lomachenko's ass. You know what I mean? He's lost by point fighting all 3 times that he's lost. So I hope that the rumor is that Tank is gonna the Tank Lomachenko fight's what's gonna come next. And if you saw the way that Loma was able to get underneath that and throw that left, I don't know. There's so many good fights at 130. 135 and 145 pounds in that division, because you got Shakur Stevenson, who might arguably be the best boxer of all those fucking guys, waiting in the wings.
Yeah, he's good, man. I saw some fights. I was looking at some fights on YouTube. Yeah, he's pretty good, man.
Yeah, Tank, Shakur, and Haney. Those three guys somehow have to end up. They got to fight each other.
They need to fight each other. You know, that's the thing that everyone talks about: Hearns, Hagler, Sugar Ray, and Roberto Duran. Those motherfuckers fought in their primes. They didn't pull this, they didn't pull this Errol Spence, Bud Crawford shit. Those guys should have fought 5 years ago. It's kind of like Pacquiao and Mayweather. Those guys fought after, you know, they were both not. I mean, they were close to being out of their prime. Pacquiao had a shoulder injury. Everything was going on. I want to see these guys fight when they're 23, 24, 25, so we can have trilogies. So we can have to bring boxing back to where it needs to go. Heyman and a bunch of those other fucking guys need to get out of the business, in my opinion. The Oscar De La Hoyas, the Al Heymans.
It's all the promoters' fault, man. There's too many. There's too many belts too. They need to have less belts, so there's more competition. I don't know. We could have another show about boxing, but I hate it.
We could. That's why I like Tyson Fury. He's been the what do they call it? The lineal heavyweight champion for.
Yeah,
but that's an interesting topic. That lineal shit.
Yeah. Oh, Junior Caminero, dude, Ralph, he's like, he was on MLB.com. They were talking about him like big time and he's a Ray.
Yeah, I think that kind of put him on the radar. But I've been talking about in our group chat, I've been talking about Caminero for over a month now. But yeah, there was some article on MLB.com saying that he could shoot up and go get called up. But I compare him and Trey's boy Jackson Holiday. Those two guys are the same age, 19. They're both in high AA. The only difference I see with Caminero is his power at 19. And I know Trey doesn't think he's 19. He thinks he's 39.
That dude's got a better beard than 78 Ralph and I combined, and he's 19.
But along with the power, he's still gonna grow into his body and he's gonna gain even more power. But what he has on his side is the low strikeout rate. So combined with that, I mean, Jackson Holiday he's a masher too, but he hasn't developed that power that Caminero has. So, while everybody's talking about Jackson Holiday, Drew Jones, Caminero, I still, even with that article that came out, I still think he's kind of flying under the radar. The prices on his card might not reflect that, but he's a stud.
Is that signed? No.
No, fuck no. This is a regular base. But look at that beard on that kid. That's 19, my ass.
Yeah, I mean, the comparison comparisons he's getting is Acuna from the Braves. So, and I think his mentor is Hanley Ramirez, so he's connected with some of these guys, and he's in the Tampa Bay Devil Rays farm system, and they produce studs. So, if you want to buy his card, like I tell Trey, he wants to pick up a Jackson Holiday. Maybe wait until he gets called up to AA, and he struggles, and then the prices on his cards go down, and then maybe pick it up then. But right now, all his stuff is super hot.
Mm-hmm. The problem with Jackson Holiday is everywhere he goes, he's getting hotter and hotter and hotter.
He's gonna slump though. The prospects, they have their good months, and they definitely have their bad months.
Don't give into the FOMO, Trey. Don't give into the FOMO.
No, dude, I've been trying to buy this motherfucker. I don't know if I told the story or not. I have bought 2 of his cards. Each time I buy it, the eBay authentication, something has failed where there's been an issue with the card that wasn't listed. I bought the card twice. Had it bought, paid for it on the way, and eBay is like, no, there's something wrong with the card. And every time that happens, you think you have it bought and paid for. So that's a 2-week process. And every time it just keeps going up and up and up. And what I can't get the card for fucking $325 what I was paying for. Now he's close to $400 for just a raw Bowman Chrome Auto. Not even anything graded, not anything good.
Fuck that.
I'm telling you, man.
It's a lot of money, man. Trey, this is yours, right? Infinity Stones of Pokemon? Generation
it was. 8 Trails? You know what? We could talk about that. We can talk about that next week. We got 2 hours and 40 minutes in.
Yeah. Okay. No worries. Oops. I was gonna talk about Final Fantasy, but I kind of had the same.
No. You can't. I'll be honest with you. I just ain't got the fucking energy to talk Pokemon tonight.
No, it's coming out next week. I'm pretty stoked for it. I saw the previews the other day. I'm a Final Fantasy fanboy, and they haven't come out any good games lately. But
this Wi-Fi? Is this online?
It's not online. It's just regular single player.
Oh wow, okay. Regular single player campaign. Okay.
Cool. Yeah, it goes back to the fantasy story of dude with the sword and all that stuff. So I'm stoked for it. Just thought I'd point out to everybody. It's nothing to flip or anything like that. I think it's too late for that.
That's dope.
Yeah.
I'd hop on that Metal Gear Solid too, that 3-pack. That should look sick.
Yeah, dude. I was gonna put that in the slides today, but maybe we can talk about it next week.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely when you post that in the Discord, I was like all about it. So
yeah, there's a lot of hype around that.
We're gonna buy you a Cloudbuster sword for your wedding. Podium.
Bro, yeah, they're never mind. I don't know how to talk about it. I guess we'll end this real quick and then everyone have a good night. But this is a this or that segment I put together. It's kind of my market report.
I love this segment, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. So $100. These both went for $100 this past week. What do you guys got?
Battlefront 2.
Battlefront 2.
I thought that was kind of my pick too. And that's raw. That Spider-Man is raw. For $100 this past week.
That's the first appearance of the May. That's the daughter first appearance, correct?
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
And that could, you know what? That's an interesting book because it's kind of out of continuity, but yet it is her first appearance. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Mary Jane and Spider-Man in the current continuity.
There's a Spider-Man already, bro. There's a whole universe of Spider-Man characters now. So I'm like, I don't know.
It's just so weird that's held the value for like ever. But that Battlefront's kind of tight, man. I like that Battlefront sealed. All right, next. Cool. For you toy guys here, I picked a toy. And then this Lana Del Rey vinyl for y'all.
$500
long term?
God damn.
I guess we'll
go that long.
Not necessarily like long term, but just like what do you think is a better buy?
What is the toy?
500.
I can't really see it.
Is it a Batwing?
Batwing.
Oh, it's a Batwing. Okay. I'm gonna have to go with the vinyl because Lana Del Rey fans are crazy.
Yeah, I'll probably go with the vinyl. I mean, Toddy Mac, he just recently released like a Batwing for the new movie, $250. So it's like, yeah, some collectors might just go for that, you know? It's like still the same shit. You wouldn't really be able to tell, kind of, you know?
Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. I would go with the Lana Del Rey too. What about you, Trey?
Lana Del Rey, like Ralph said, her for every reason for being she's a decent artist, but her vinyls just go fucking nuts, like Taylor Swift level nuts when people buy her vinyls.
Yeah. 78. What about you?
Yeah, I do that as well, man. I do that as well, mainly because that Batman, the Batwing, we just got a Toddy Mac one.
Yeah, dude, I was talking to my fiance's niece. She's like 12. She got 12, 10, and 16. They all fucking love Lana Del Rey vinyls. Yeah, I thought it was really.
Man, we're competing with really kids now.
Yeah, and last but not least, so sealed corn cassette. I guess it's like a short print deal, and then those Jordans.
Those look like customs because those are not the
those aren't
regular Off-White.
Those are Chicago's. Those aren't the Chicago Off-Whites at all. Those I don't know what the Pythons are.
I didn't know what these were. I was just guessing you guys would know, but
made out of Python fucking skin.
I don't know, man.
Customs. That's expensive as custom.
Yeah.
I got a pair of Python boots, and those motherfuckers are uncomfortable as shit.
Wait, so the corn cassette, is that like
it's like a demo tape, I guess. Like,
that's
94, 95. It's sealed.
I'm gonna have to go with that.
Yeah, there was a bunch of bids on it too, so it must be legit.
Yeah.
I guess I'll go with the corn because I can't comment on those shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the shoes. So. Yeah.
Cool.
Corn it is. Across the board.
Yeah, I'll go with corn.
All right. Well, that's
we did 2 hours and 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
I felt like we could do another hour if we wanted to be honest with you.
We could go back to the boxing discussion and like go to midnight. Fucking A, man.
Oh, that was this. I think I think if we talk about stuff like that, we gotta let people know because that's one of those fun things at the chat where people can chat and comment their opinions and about the fight game and who they like, et cetera, et cetera. So maybe we can do like a live stream during the
fight,
during the spence or something like that. We'll do one of those things where we got like a reflection or some shit like that where people can kind of half-ass watch it or something.
When you guys get a fight, do you guys like have like a homie get it and then like just barbecue like 4 hours before and just like do all that shit?
Sometimes
I want all day.
I want no motherfuckers in my house when the good fights are on because I get way too into it and get mad and happy and all the emotions out. I don't need people around seeing that shit.
Yeah.
It
I
used
think
to be like an event. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm Mexican, so if there's a Mexican fighter, if it was Canelo back in the day, it was
Yeah.
Chavez. It was like this big
Yeah.
thing. Everybody
Yeah.
They
was going
usually
like
do it
crazy.
like 4th of July. I mean, Cinco de Mayo weekend too.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
September.
Mexican in
Didn't
September.
Mayweather
Mexican
wear
Independence
like?
Day and shit.
Who did Mayweather fight? He
Yeah,
had
yeah,
the
he's come out
Mexican
like
flag.
sombrero and all that shit.
Fucking
Fucking
Yeah.
asshole, dude.
That was
straight trolling, but hey, dude, it's funny. You
Asshole,
know?
man.
Yeah, no, I usually like going to like parties. I don't like doing
Yeah,
that
me
shit at
too.
my house, but like, yeah, if I get invited to a
Not at
party,
my
like, yeah,
house.
let's
I'll
go.
go to
Yeah.
your house and fuck shit
Yeah,
up.
let's
I
go.
remember. I
Were
remember
you guys
one time.
Marquez's fans? Sorry, bro.
Oh yeah,
Marquez?
I definitely
like
big
Marquez.
fan,
I
dude.
hate
When
Marquez,
when
man.
he knocked out Pacquiao,
He
I
killed my
literally
boy,
jumped
man.
out of my seat, dude.
I
Like,
remember that.
I took him 4 fights to beat
There we
Pacquiao,
go.
man.
wait, he knocked him out cold.
I know. I thought he
Like,
died,
he
dude.
did.
I thought he
Pacquiao was a
died.
beast. No, Pacquiao was a beast. He
Yeah,
he
no,
was a
respect to
legit ass
Pacquiao,
fighter,
though.
bro. But
Yeah.
yeah, that fight, I'll always remember that too. Like,
Yeah.
it was just like a clean shot, and I was like, God,
It was, dude.
damn.
It was. I think it was a
was.
short right, and I
He
mean,
ran
Pacquiao,
into
like
it.
you said,
He ran right into it
he-
right before the
yeah.
he
bell.
really
That was
did.
a good fight
He
too, man.
planked.
Yeah.
Pacquiao was
Yeah.
winning that fight. He was
He was.
going on to dominate that fight because in the beginning Marquez kind of had him, but in the later rounds, Pacquiao was dominating.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and what Trey was saying earlier, like that was the 4th fight with Marquez, because
Yeah,
Mayweather
that
wasn't gonna
fight should have
fight
never
him.
really happened, right? It should have
Yeah,
just gone to Mayweather. Like that fight right there kind of diluted the Mayweather fight because it was like,
Big
oh,
time.
we already saw this dude kind of. I mean,
Yeah.
he had lost before, but it was like, oh, okay, like
The thing
Yeah,
was, what's impressive about Pacquiao though is he's lost all those fights, and then I remember he won that fucking title in Australia like 3 years ago.
Yes, yeah.
No, he lost. No, he got beat by that dude in Australia. Excuse me. But the
Yeah.
fact
He
that
beat somebody else though,
Jeff
didn't he?
Hearns.
he
Yeah.
did like
He-
Ugas, wasn't it?
I can't remember, but like, I mean, just kept
Was
fighting,
in Texas?
man.
Was it at Cowboy
Yeah,
Stadium?
Yeah.
It was. But the fact that like 40 at my age, he's out there still fucking throwing leather, and it wasn't like he was slowed down that much. I mean, he still was the same Pac-Man with that crazy foot speed in and out, throwing monster rights and this and that. I miss those guys. I miss the Mickey Wards, like I said, the people
Oh
that
my God, Mickey Ward.
I mean,
Yeah,
that-
dude, those fights were awesome. Classic. Diego Corrales, remember that Diego Corrales
Yeah.
fight? He got knocked down like 3 times, then ended up winning. Rest in peace. Fucking died in a motorcycle accident in Vegas. That was
Yeah,
crazy.
you might be a little too young, but Pernell Whitaker, Joe,
Hell
Oh
yeah.
yeah, come on, man. Pernell Whitaker.
dude, God, his style is my favorite boxing style that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because that shoulder roll that Mayweather developed was based off
It's
Pernell's
from Whitaker,
fucking
yeah.
Yeah.
Which I've seen a couple things recently. It showed the Canelo Mayweather fight, and it showed how they planned to wear Canelo down
Mm-hmm.
because they knew Canelo was going to wear down because he was going to come in with so much energy, and it showed exactly how Mayweather used that shoulder roll to get in the range of fucking Canelo, and Canelo was just throwing those heavy right shots, and he just was glancing off that shoulder blade, and it's just crazy.
I don't think Canelo would have beat him, but he was definitely way too young. I think he was
22
20,
or 21,
yeah,
right?
he was still too young. He was still too green, and it was a
Mhm.
boxing masterclass. But if they would have fought maybe a few years after that, I think maybe Canelo gives him some trouble. But yeah, he
got paid though for that fight,
yeah.
man. Right? So
yeah,
I mean,
You
I
think
love.
he's going to beat the?
I just was saying, I love those boxing matches, like because when Pacquiao used to fight like a Mexican fighter, I'd always be at like either my Mexican friends would come over or I'd go over to their house and we'd be drinking like San Miguel and freaking Dos Equis and having like tortillas and freaking lumpia.
Yeah.
It was like we were feasting, man. It was good times. I actually flew down to LA one time for a fight. That was pretty cool.
for Pacquiao.
Do you think he's going to beat?
Yeah.
Do you think he's going to beat Bivol in the next fight?
Nah, I think that guy's just too big. He gives him too much trouble.
Mhm.
You know, there's like the styles make fights kind of thing, and there's always a guy that just has your number. And I think after that fight, you can tell. I've never seen Canelo he wilted, like he just
folded a little bit.
Yeah, he didn't want to. I don't want to say he didn't want to fight anymore, but he just knew in his head that I can't beat this guy.
Bivol's power. I've never seen Canelo get hit with the shots
Yeah.
that Bivol was throwing and hitting him with in that 7th, 8th, and 9th round. And
Yeah, he
you're
was
right.
blowing
You
him.
could you could tell that Canelo wanted out of that fight at one point in time. But here's the thing, though, as we know in the 80s and some of our great fighters, and Sugar Ray, people that have lost, Canelo comes back and knocks this motherfucker out. It moves him to another stratosphere in the pantheon of great boxers. So
yeah, it's all about legacy.
We did talk about this another time. People are fucking tired of our boxing talk.
What's a spec on boxing? Shut up. What's a spec? Flip belts.
Buy a
Flip
glove.
belts.
Which signed glove should I buy?
yeah. Anyway. All right. Well, thanks everyone. I hope you like the rebranding, and thanks, Omar.
I like it, man.
I'm gonna catch you guys on Saturday for sure.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely.
Cool. Thanks.
I may or may not be doing a podcast on Sunday. It's my wedding day, so we'll see.
Look at Ferd.
But I will be doing a podcast tomorrow on anime. So if you guys can come out at 5 o'clock Pacific, I'll be doing with John Smith tomorrow. Should be pretty cool, man. I've been deep diving the anime stuff. I think maybe I kind of want to bring an OTR like eventually, but I don't know well enough to talk about it. But yeah, come through tomorrow. Should be good stuff. And I make comments in the
Dragon Ball?
We're talking just like manga market report and just like what to read, and like I'll be giving away a Blu-ray. And then if anyone comments in the
a bit early for me.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah, for sure. Comment in the Rumble or the YouTube, and I'll do a giveaway for tonight's show as well. And we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you, Omar.
Peace.